Ba, 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 ba. Yo. Yo. Hello. Hello. Yellow. Yo. The goat. I wonder why my stream is on. Hello. Happy Saturday. How's it going, everybody? The worst thing you can do on stream, I feel like, is eat. I think it's like super annoying when I see like other streamers like eat. I really want to eat because it's right in front of me, but I cannot do it. Can't do it. I have a pet peeve about watching other people eat, but I will drink water. Thanks very much. Love to Bud. I appreciate that. Oh, whoever says they don't like water, they got issues. Water's so good. Water's so good. So good when it hits your lips. Sign into chat? What does that even mean? I don't know how to use this system still. Where's my Facebook chat? Where's all these things? Do you want to log out? No, I don't want to log out. Ugh. How disappointing. I want to make sure my Facebook thing's in here too, but I don't see Facebook coming through the chat. Multi-stream. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I grew up in Madrid. Oh, God, during Franco time. Sorry to hear that. Talk about fascist. I don't know how he stayed in power for so long. Especially after World War II. We were like cleaning up all the fascists. We should have cleaned up that fascist too. I need a little air on me. It is hot in my office today. Oh, that's nice. We're good. Won't you tell me your name? I don't know what that means. Whew. Cameras are so much fun. What's the subject? There is no subject. What should the subject be? What is the subject? I'm going to allow for people to come up here if they want to, one at a time. One at a time. If they want to come up and say hello and ask something or whatever. But the first person to come up here and get cray, I'm just going to drop you back down. Just going to drop you back down. Just like that. Oh. Warm when you are too. Where are you? You are too? Yeah, I live in California. I live in Western. Yeah, I live in Western California. I live in Los Angeles, so it's hot. It's hot here all year round. But today, it's really hot. It's very good though. Vancouver in the house. What's up? I see no Facebook chat coming through. So either nobody on Facebook is chatting or I forgot how to connect it. And I'm not streaming on Facebook right now. I have to look. I'm going to look. I know you guys are concerned. Yep, I am not streaming on Facebook. Real cool, Facebook. Oh, that air feels so nice. This guy. Oh, I am streaming. Okay, good. There I am. There I am. I'm there. I know you guys were worried, but I'm there. I see it now. Hello, I love you. Won't you tell me your name? All right, let's see what we got here. Warm where you are too. Okay, there's not a lot of people on the TikTok today. The TikTok thing today. It's probably because it's an absolutely beautiful day, probably around the country. Right? I bet you there's like nobody online right now. There's a Facebook person. You were streaming the whole time. I was. I totally was. I'd love to have like a way of people from YouTube and Facebook to be able to like chat with me via audio on this stream. It would be really cool. But I have to like, I don't want to make you sign up for another system like Discord or anything like that. I guess I could do like a call-in number, but that's kind of corny too. I don't want to do any of that. I don't want to do any of that. Although I could do Twitter Spaces, but probably nobody has Twitter anymore either because it's owned by a crazy person. Thanks, MSP Bix. I appreciate that. Enjoying your post. Thank you. I go live at 5 to 9 is my show. Cool, man. I keep going live at different times because I ask Facebook. I do a poll on Facebook to say like what time it works for everybody, and they keep saying 4. Sweet. Thanks for the fan club thing. Yeah, Twitter's tough. I have I used to use Twitter always. I did thousands of hours on Twitter audio spaces. Hey, Lucas Smile. Hey. Smile. Blue Sky's all right, but you know, Blue Sky is like highly limited about video content. You can't post videos on Blue Sky. Like they have a hard stop at 3 minutes or less. And on top of that, it's certain file size. So like I have a hard time posting my videos on there. I'd love to use Blue Sky more, obviously, but they're like severely limited. And during this time period of like, it's 2026. Why are they so limited to still? Software could easily be updated and stuff. So yeah, so have I, Joseph. I've been saying it for the entire 10 years as well. I was worried in 2017 he was going to have his militias, like his little ICE people rolling through Los Angeles, like doing, they were going to have I was guessing they were going to have red state people police cities and go crazy and be asking people for their papers, rolling around streets, asking people their papers. And they did this in 2025. So it was just a little longer later, but I guessed they were going to do this. It's going to get way worse, I think. The reform wing in the UK. In the UK, the right-wing reform and restore voters won't admit. Of course they won't admit. That's like fascist Germany before they got into power. They didn't admit what they were either. They lied and said they were socialists. And then when they got into power, they unalived all the socialists. I have a video about that where everybody keeps saying like the fascist government that ran Germany in the 30s and 40s were socialists. And it's like, it's right in the name, they say. And it's like, no, dude, it was just propaganda. It was just their name. They know what they want to do is extremely unpopular. So they lie to everybody to tell them there's something that they're not. Imagine me holding some kind of weapon in my hand. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that. Imagine if I was holding a weapon in my hand and you see this weapon, like clear as day. You see it. And I'm like, they're like, oh yeah, I see you holding that. You'd be like, I'm not holding anything. They're like, I see you holding that. What are you talking about? I'm not holding anything. Yet it's right in your face. They're just gaslighting you into thinking that they're not what they are. They seem to be. They absolutely are what they seem to be. Don't believe a word they say. It's totally illegitimate. Deconversion story? No, I was never a Republican. Not a chance. I don't have a deconversion story of it all. I see a lot of people on the internet. How could you ever trust those people again? That's crazy to think that those people would ever be trusted again. Some people are like, oh yeah, just accept them, let them back in. Okay, wait. So they robbed your house 3 times. You're gonna let them back into the house after let them rob your house the 4th time? Like, I don't think so. No, not a chance. I'm in the middle. I don't know what that means, Tammy Fitzgerald. You can't be a centrist at this moment. One's morally right. There is no like, can't we just have political differences? No, this is not about political differences. This is whether or not you're a decent, normal person or you're a far right crazy person who wants everybody to be basically enslaved and bow down to some like movement of theirs that's like religious. Imagine a 2,000-year-old doctrine they're trying to like force you into. It's like, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're saying. The echo is bad? Do I have echo? Who else hears my... Is it really that bad? Oh, Stinkster. Thanks, man. Let's see if I can fix it. I wish someone would have told me earlier. Man. Real cool, guys. Cool story, bro. All right, let's see what I got here. That sucks. I really hate that. My audio's all messed up. They keep switching the software. All right, let's see. I'm testing. Oh, yeah, I hear the echo. I hear the echo. I hear it. I hear it. It's coming. Don't worry. There's no echo on your guys, but the TikTok side has an echo. Echo, echo. Whoa, whoa. All right, let's see here. Audio monitoring off. Convert to mono. Let's see. I learned this a little while ago, but now I can't remember because it was fixed for so long. All right. All right. All right. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. There's the setting. Audio effects. I don't want audio effects. Ugh. They got to make this complex, yo. Why do they got to do this? Primary mic. Yep, that's correct. Yep, that's correct. Oh, I see it. This might be it. Tell me if the echo has stopped. Tell me if the echo has stopped. Tell me if the echo has stopped. Nope. Okay. It was worth a try. General settings. Noise suppression. Here we go. Here we go. I'm going to high. Let's try this. How's that? Better? Better, better, better? Okay, good to know. Echo cancellation is on. How about now? Is that better? How about now? How about now? What about now? And what about now? Oh, man. I have to admit, I'm a little disappointed with TikTok. Super disappointed with TikTok. Noise suppression's on high. I'm going to turn it off. Let's see here. Echo cancellation on, save. You guys got to tell me. I don't know if it's, I can't really tell. Echo is gone? Sweet. I did it. I can't believe it. It's not, there's like a bunch of bells and whistles and you don't know which one works. All right. I'm not messing with it anymore. All right. Back to the chat. Hey, where did Stink go, man? Stink, get up here. Let's chat it up, man. Big fan of Stink. Everybody follow him. He's in the chat. I'm going to pin up his comments so you can follow him. He's a really good dude. Makes awesome videos. He was like super good to me. Really nice person when I first started making content. Still is really great. One of the best people I know on TikTok. You got to follow him, guys. If you don't already, follow that cat. Oh, no problem, man. No problem. Follow him anyway. He's not coming up, but follow him anyway. Yeah, dude, you're smart to be out. I'm a fan. I was just out for a few hours, and it was so nice to be right on the beach. There's a little place. I live really close to the ocean, and it's just really nice to just go there. I go there every day, so it's really awesome. Yeah, Stinkster's great. No doubt about it. Happy Saturday, Black Sheep Unite. What's up, Sarah? All right, the truth. Lucas, please explain voting habits. When I vote, my decisions are thinking about not only myself and my family, but it includes the greater good. Yeah, well, they don't think that way. They think, what is going to help me the most? I'm voting for someone that's going to help me the most. So they don't care about you. They have what's called zero-sum thinking. And I've had them say this to me. They go, if I don't mess the person over first, they'll mess me over. So I'm going to mess them over before they mess me over. And it's like, wait, what? That's not how people think. Like, I don't think that way. So like, I instantly break what you're saying. Like, oh, everybody thinks this way. I do not want to, it's not a zero-sum game. If you win, I can win, and we can all win together, theoretically. If you put each other up on I say gas each other up. I think that is the best way to win in life, is to gas everybody else up and not like tear people down. And a lot of these folks are super insecure, narcissistic people that want to just tear others down. Like, they enjoy gossiping and tearing people down. And that's the reason why you can't relate to them. And I have a hard time relating to them as well. But they're like emotionally immature people. Cat dad chats? I don't know if I know you, cat dad chats. Stink's gonna have to vouch for you. I'd love to have you up for a second, but do I follow you, cat dad chats? Oh, you look legit. But you also look like a Trump supporter. I hope you're not. Master's degree in history. You better not be.
He has free speech, though. Free speech. The amount of...
Yeah, Trump supporters are snowflakes. I vouch for that. All right, let's see what else we got here. So you also have to remember, people vote for people, they inherit their political beliefs from their parents a lot of the times. So there's a part of, my dad's a Republican, I'm a Republican, my grandfather was a Republican. It's like they're inheriting some glory. And it's like, you're not inheriting anything. I remember being a conservative or being a Republican was like Ronald Reagan, who would be a Democrat today. He would be a centrist Democrat today, Ronald Reagan. He would be known as a rhino. Get him out of here, they would say. Yet they worship Reagan, and now Reagan would be just pushed out in like 2 seconds flat. Reagan's tariff policy was literally against what Trump said. So it's kind of funny to see these people are canceling other people, and they're getting more extreme every time those people disagree with them, even though they're iconic figures. Whether they were good or not iconic just means they were iconic figures. They would completely reject Jesus. These Christian nationalists would completely reject the teachings of Jesus. If he was back in real life, if he even existed, which maybe he did, maybe he didn't, doesn't really matter. He was just a dude who was just probably a halfway decent dude. And I think it's interesting that people, these white Christian nationalist people would totally reject the teachings. And if he was back, they would just be like, they would call him names and reject them completely. I'm an older woman in California and the state helps me with my electric bill. Yep, that's pretty good. Thank goodness for California, I guess. You're living in the right state. My dad was a union steward in his middle age and in his middle age, but watched Fox in his later years. Yeah. I also had a father who was a centrist. He was very center, but he was a little to the right, but very centrist and a very decent-like person. At least so I thought. And he got switched over in the late 90s, early 2000s to like, he was always angry. And I was like, why are you always angry all of a sudden? You're like on edge all of the time. And what he was doing was he was rage watching Fox News 24 hours a day. Like when he woke up to the moment he went to bed, he was rage watching Fox News and being on his laptop on these like far right Tea Party-ish type websites that were only like white background with blue text. I hate white backgrounds. I'm dark mode everywhere. So I just can't believe people read like that. I mean, your eyes start bleeding from the white background. But he was rage watching news. He started with Rush Limbaugh. He was absolutely in love with Rush Limbaugh. And he then converted over to Fox News, and he was watching InfoWars for entertainment. He told me, I was like, wait, I made a joke one time. I'm like, you might as well tell me you get your information from like InfoWars. He's like, and I was joking, and he goes, I only watch that for entertainment. I'm like, I didn't really think you watched it. He watched it. Come to find out, my joke turned into, oh yeah, I do watch it, but just for fun. It's like, that is not fun. That guy is literally screaming his brains out. My dad went from PBS to Rush Limbaugh in the mid-90s. Yeah, exactly. He rejected everything he taught me to value. 100%, by the way. My dad taught me a lot of decent, I'm not saying all of the things he taught me were decent, but he taught me a lot of decent things, like treat everybody with respect and be kind and courteous and all that stuff. And then he started to be the opposite of that in the early 2000s. And I was just like, whoa, where did this guy come from? He was always kind of a jerk, but he got like his short fuse of tolerance for people just like got even shorter. And you could just ask him a question outside of the parameter he didn't like, and he would just instantly just rage out on you and be like, whoa, dude, you need to pump the brakes on whatever's going on with you. You need to chill out. You need to find a hobby or something, because whatever you're doing is not working. He was very upset about everything. So I can imagine, I know exactly how you feel about that. People just like switch, and you're just like, where did all this rage come from? And I didn't know at the time, like, that it was an addiction, that you can get addicted to cortisol spikes, and how like comforting it is when you isolate, when you spend a lot of time alone, or even worse, you spend a lot of time alone or with someone you're married to who doesn't like any of the stuff that you like also, you might as well be alone. It's even worse than being alone, because being alone, at least you can do something on your own. But if you're married to someone and you feel alone because they dislike everything you like, that's way worse. And I think my father married somebody that didn't like any of the stuff he liked doing. And it was like he was in a prison he made for himself. And I think a lot of people do that. And then they need an outlet, and their outlet becomes the internet. And they get isolated because the significant other they are with doesn't want to leave the house. They just want to like do this one thing every day, or they don't want to be social. They just want to watch, like, they just want to like water their plants, cook a little food, and like not talk to anybody else. And I think so that's a problem with society, is that everybody's like so antisocial. We have completely made the world, we've defrictionalized the world. So right now, you don't have to leave your house. You can push a button, food gets delivered. You can push a button, your groceries get delivered. You have removed all have these like situations where you bump into someone in the grocery store, or you're out somewhere else to like say hello to somebody. You bump into them at the car wash. You barely even go to the car wash, right? I go to the car wash like every other week, like every 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. I'm alone, single for over 13 years. Sorry to hear that. It sounds peaceful, but imagine if you could find someone that like jives with what you're doing. I don't know. I think that's pretty cool. I'd like to be not single. I'm single right now. I'd like to not be single. I'm a straight dude. So, but I have to admit, I do enjoy the peace I have right now with doing that. It's really peaceful to not have to worry about somebody else's invented drama. FIFA has restored my faith in the world. You think so? Hey, Health and Happiness, one of my favorite people on TikTok. What's up? Yeah, FIFA is awesome. The only downside about FIFA is like they gave him like a peace prize, and I don't know what peace he's good for, except for starting his own war and then pretending like he fixed it by stopping his own war, and then the peace deal like fell through already. So yeah, I doubt that's gonna work. Kind of funny at the same time, but it's not funny. My home is a sanctuary. I prefer to just be around family and only go out once in a while. Yeah, I don't really go out at all. All I do is work. At work and exercise. No, I know what you meant by football. I've played soccer my whole life. I'm a outlaw. Like I've been a soccer player since I was like 6, maybe 5 actually even. But I've been playing soccer forever. Played through grammar school and high school and some in college. Played some competitive soccer also in California. So I only just stopped recently. Also played basketball my whole life and rode crew when I was in high school. And I don't know how people can watch sports on TV though. I have a problem with that, except for soccer. Now, World Cup, if you don't watch the World Cup, I understand why people watch the World Cup. That's awesome. But watching soccer on the regular would be boring to me. I feel like a lot of people watch sports because a lot of them were never really good at sports. And I think they watch sports because it's a way of like connecting with people. I find it so painful to watch like regular sports. I'm improving myself. That's good, Lucas. I don't know what that means. I am a little bit of a workaholic, but that's just because I'd rather be in control of that than having to. I have pretty high, all I'm going to say is I have pretty high standards when it comes to being partnered up again in my life. I've learned too much to know that I I have these certain boundaries, and if you cross them, or red flags or whatever, if you cross the red flag right when I first meet you, that's not something that's good. That's something that's usually bad. And you should learn from people's like actions rather than their words. So be very careful if you're not in a relationship and you're trying to get into one. Do not ignore red flags. Do not ignore actions and believe their words. Never do that. Always actions over words. Never believe just the words. Peace Cup. No, nominate me for Peace Cup? No, I'm good, dude. I don't know how much peace I'm creating right now. I wouldn't be able to accept it. That's my problem, is that I feel like I have to earn things. So it's funny how that works. The Republican Party is like the whole thing is like, oh, you're taking welfare because you haven't earned it. That's my money and blah blah blah. But yet they give a peace prize to Trump that he didn't earn, and they're all okay with him getting a prize he never earned. It's the hypocrisy is part of their gaslighting. Narcissistic love bombing is very dangerous. Yeah, it is. Yep. It is. It is. I'm not going to tell you my red flags. Kimball Rogan. Wow, what an interesting name, Kimball. Kimball Rogan or Reagan. Oh, sorry. Is that Reagan? Shoot. Kimball Ragan. I don't know how to pronounce your last name, bro. Or woman. I am a black flag as a Gothic. I don't know what that means. Too much of a square to know what that means, yo. Yeah, I agree. Health and happiness. The program for Obama's presidential center was amazing. Yep. It was so awesome to see Obama and Michelle Obama talk. They're just awesome people. Such good people. You love your single life. Yeah, I'm not hating on single life, but it would be way cool to be able to like go on like road trips with somebody I enjoy spending time with. It'd be cool to like just do stuff and like have someone at the end of the day to like chat about your day with, and like maybe watch a movie or two together, maybe cook a little something in the kitchen, put a little Sinatra on in the background, dance in the kitchen a little bit while you're cooking, you know, stuff like that. Be fun. I think that's kind of a really good way to be. There's a band called Black Flag. Yeah, I know this band. I didn't know that was what she was saying. Okay, now I get it. Black Flag is very goth, I'm guessing. Oh, it's a punk band? I didn't think goth and punk went together. When I think goth, I think Marilyn like Manson, and maybe even a little darker, like early Korn, or I don't know the other bands right now off the top of my head, but that's the thing I think of when I think goth. Sinatra or Tony Bennett? Actually, I prefer Tony Bennett. Actually, I really like Dean Martin. I'm a big fan of Dean Martin. I'm a big fan of almost all of the old Croners. Some of them are a little too much for me, but there's some really good ones. I would do Tony Bennett. It depends. Sinatra has too many hits. So it'd be hard to not do Sinatra because he has so many. I don't watch football. I do not have an NFL team. I cannot stand watching sports on TV. You missed that part, I'm guessing. So it's boring. It's really boring to me. I've always found them boring. I've played sports my whole life, but I find sports on TV boring. I cannot sit around Sunday and watch sports and pretend like I care, because I just don't care about sports. I have no allegiance to a sporting team. I'm not like, I could walk into a stadium and be like, oh, cool. I don't really care. I don't understand the concept of having an allegiance to a sports team, which is why I don't understand why people would have an allegiance to a person like Trump. Like, it's a very similar thing. is having an allegiance to something. And I've never had that before. I've never been, just never. Can't watch it on TV. I would rather watch anything almost else besides like sports on TV. I don't really want to watch TV. I'd rather make something or be outside somewhere or creating videos or, something that's productive. At least I have an open tap. My brain's always an open tap to like learning. So I'm always trying to learn stuff. So I'd rather research something for like 3 hours than watch sports on TV. I think that makes me a little bit of an outlier because I think most people like sports. I'm maybe the only one on the planet. It feels like sometimes I'm the only one. Clearly I'm not the only one, obviously, but how do I slow down this chat? I don't know how to do it. Trying. I don't know how to slow this chat down. I'm trying. All right, hold on a second here. I'm slowing it down. I'm slowing her down. I'm backing her down. I'm backing her down for sure. You can only scroll up. No. It's my platform. I have Streamlabs or whatever it's called. There's a way to slow down the stream on Streamlabs. But I just am trying to do that. And it's like going by so fast. Let's see here. Let's do 800. Let's see what happens. Oh, cool. Longer chat. That's pretty cool. Let's see what else. I don't have custom code. Let's see. Delay. Chat delay. Found it. Oh, I don't know what that means, though. Great. I delayed it, but I don't know what that means. So hopefully that slows it down a little bit. I know on TikTok it's just going to go flying by. ASD, maybe you're on the ASD spectrum too. I don't even know what that means. All I know is that I'm a very direct person. I don't enjoy small talk, but I am a super goofy person as well. I come across as like super serious in my videos, but the person I'm with, if I was with somebody, they would know that I'm just a pretty goofy person. A little, I would say goofy, but not like goofy weird. I don't know about the Pledge of Allegiance. I had the Pledge of Allegiance when I was a kid, every single day before school. But now what we have now is crazy. So it's taken on a whole new meaning to Pledge of Allegiance now. Either things have gotten way worse, which I think they have, or I have just gotten way more aware. I think it's pool and table tennis. Wait, I hate sports except very occasionally pool and table tennis. So I've played like real sports my whole life. No offense to pool and table tennis. I don't consider those like sports to me. I consider like being really active. Like I've played tennis my whole life. I've played soccer my whole life. I played basketball my whole life. I rode crew in high school. I just played like every sport you can think of. I probably played, and I would be at least decent at it because I played sports my whole life. Like, so I'm at least I used to be very agile. But yeah, I don't know about calling pool a sport, but I guess it is, right? I mean, darts is a sport too, I guess too, but it's not really a sport to me. I meant like team sports. I've never really played something that wasn't really a team sport. It's always been teams. I think people, if you don't play team sports, is definitely a problem. Love sports, but doesn't bother me that others don't. Yeah, I can't relate to a lot of people because I don't understand the concept of like being allegiant to a sporting team. Like, it just doesn't make sense in my head. I'm like, I'm not that interested in like any. I've played soccer my whole life, but I don't need to watch soccer and go, yeah, go Portugal, or when it's World Cup, totally different, right? Now I can be like, yeah, cool. I picked this team to be my sport of the World Cup. Like, one year it was France, and I really wanted France to win. One year it was Portugal. I was a big fan of this player called Figo. And like I said, I'm a soccer player my whole life. So like, I played soccer, and so I feel like there's a lot of people who didn't play sports growing up at all. And they were just like, they thought they were bad at these sports. So they watch them on TV to like compensate for being bad at sports. They're like, yeah, that's my team. And they like just never played sports, or they were never good at them. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I think people watch sports mainly to relate to other dudes. Like, dudes watch sports to relate to other dudes. It's like a community building thing. And I think a lot of women watch sports. Not all of them, but a lot of women watch sports so they can relate to the dude they're with. I've had girls actually tell me that. They're like, oh, thank God you don't watch sports. I don't have to pretend to like them with you. Yeah. Yes. Accurate. I don't know if I'm on the autism spectrum though, dude. I don't think that's true. I'd have to be tested. I definitely have ADHD. That's a guarantee. I gotta get comfortable here. I gotta get more comfortable here. I'm gonna get more comfortable. Gotta get more comfortable over here. Oh, that air feels so nice. It's so good. All right, I gotta turn this off though for a minute. I'm testing. I'm doing single variant testing, turning on and off the fan to see if it works. How good it worked. When will the Iran conflict be over? Really? I have an idea. Boy, I wish I could tell you that. I would bet on it on one of those like betting platforms. I have no idea. He's trying to cover up the Epstein files. As soon as he stops trying to cover up the Epstein files, the war will be over. I don't know if you guys saw, but he finally went against the federal judge. The attorney general went against the judge who told them they had to put it in writing that he was going to not pursue the slush fund, and he basically said, no, I don't have to do that. So that was the first time they're going against a federal judge completely. It's really hard to look at so many multiple chats at the same time. All right. My kid refuses at school. They don't like it, but that's too bad. I don't know what that means. Is that the Pledge of Allegiance? Oh yeah, it's Pledge of Allegiance. I enjoy college football. We have an amazing program. Yeah, I don't care about it. I don't care about college football. I don't care about regular football. I think it's like super boring to watch. It's just not interesting to me. And also, they're all basically running themselves into a brick wall and probably going to get CTE later in life. They're actually hurting themselves. So to me, I think it's ridiculous but that's just me. I don't judge. Too many people like it other than me. So clearly I'm the outlier. I have been diagnosed combat type ADHD. I don't know what that means. We are now doing an ADHD live stream. Oh, okay, guy Cameron. What's up? Huge fan of Cake Guy Cameron over here. Great name. Can never forget it. Todd Blanche is a scumbag. Yeah. Hello. He does not deserve to be. Like, he's no credentials to be him. Like, he's barely a lawyer. So, yeah, I agree with that. Attention and hyperactivity. Yeah, I know what that means. My husband watches everything. Oh, God, that would drive me nuts, dude. See, that's the problem. Like, I don't get it. I would never be able to be friends with your friend there, your husband. Oh, how did I just get restricted? For what reason now? Who am I bullying? It says I'm bullying someone. I don't even know what that means in this case. I don't understand people watching football. It just doesn't make sense to me. Or sports in general, baseball, any of it. It doesn't do anything for me. I'd rather be doing something productive. It doesn't always have to be productive. I should be more clear about that. It just needs to be not boring. I want to be learning something or completely entertained, and watching somebody try to run and take a football and have like 27 people giving their commentary about like how that guy just ran the ball from here to there and try to make like rocket science out of it. And all it is a dude running with a football. I just think it's fascinating. Yikes, Lucas, what, dude? I'd rather just be doing something productive, yo. Like, I don't see anything wrong with not watching baseball or football or any of boring sports that I would absolutely smoke all of you in, by the way. I am so much better. I can say that with perfect confidence that I am better at those 3 sports than everybody on this chat right now. So because I am, I can clearly say I don't need to watch sports to know how to play them or enjoy them. And no, I do not golf. I suck at golf. I've tried the golf. I don't have the patience for golf. I would turn it into polo with golf clubs and golf carts. These are so boring to me. I mean, yeah, a lot of deals get made on the golf course. Cool. I'm not going to be involved in those deals. I watch archaeology shows. Oh man, that is my kind of Sandra. Yes. Archaeology shows. Yes. But there, I've noticed like since I've been making videos, there's a lot of like fluff. There's a lot of like too much like filler inside of these archaeology shows where they like yammer about a bunch of stuff that I don't care about. Like, dude, get to the point. They're trying to make a show into 50 minutes that could be 15 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, just make a 15-minute show. Cut out all the fluff, right? So some of that stuff drives me nuts. My videos could easily be 50 minutes, 60 minutes. They could easily be an hour or longer if I wanted to like talk in circles for an hour, but I don't want to do that. So. Trump is gaslighting the USA. Yeah, but gaslighting only works on like people who want to believe. You either want to believe or you're dumb. Only 2 things, right? If you're in a relationship and you believe someone gaslighting you, you're trying to be an appeaser and stay with that person, right? Or you believe them and you're just dumb. Somebody said this recently. I think it was Destiny. Destiny said this on one of his streams, and he goes, Elon Musk is a 97 IQ guy talking to, and all of his fans are like 80 IQ people. And they all think he's a genius because he's a 97 IQ guy talking to 80 IQ people. And I completely agree with that statement. He is really smart in a very narrow band of the world. Very smart, but in this tiny little thing that doesn't affect anybody else. But he's really not smart in anything else. Yet everybody like worships this guy because he's a trillionaire. I think it's interesting. I don't like true crime. I used to be very much into like true crime documentaries. I blazed through true crime documentaries. Like, I don't know, I don't know what words I could say on here without saying I'm like a bully all of a sudden, which is such a weird thing. I don't know if people can report that and turn it into saying I'm a bully. I don't know. If you can just report a chat like that, I don't know. But I used to I blazed through all of them. Cold case files, like the older ones from like the late 90s, early 2000s. I went through what are these ones? I can't remember the names of them, but I went through all of them. I blazed through them. I got to a point where I'm like, all right, I'm not really learning anything from any of this stuff. It's just, it just made me I'm like, I could be learning stuff that's useful instead of just like filling my overactive brain with information that's entertainment. But it's kind of like true crime is kind of like reality TV, except for it's like from old stuff. You don't get me wrong, it's cool. The history part of like the storytelling and stuff is cool. And you're like, wow, can you imagine this? You know, it gets really interesting. And yeah, of course, I feel bad for the people in these true crime, or especially like cold case files, because it's like nobody cared about them, and all that stuff. So anyway, I don't really like doing true crime anymore. I went through my true crime phase. Now I'm on just like learning. I just really like to learn stuff, especially history and stuff, and obviously psychology. I don't have to tell you guys that. Ripping down the East Wing. What about it? He's basically, what he's showing you visually, trying to show everybody, Trump's trying to show everybody visually that he's in charge. So he destroys the East Wing because he can. He is a chaos agent. He needs chaos in his life in order to operate. And all he knows is chaos. So he's trying to create what he has in his brain that seems normal, and that's chaos. So he wants to destroy the East Wing. He wants you guys completely distracted with 1,000 things at once. Destroy the East Wing, that'll take these people and have them focus on that. Do this, people will be focused on that. Do this, and people will be focused on that all at once. What fascists do is flood every network, every channel of communication at all times. So newspapers, the internet, the radio, everything, and it's flooding it with hundreds of lies a day so that you guys get completely distracted from holding on to the one thing that matters out of all those hundreds of things. It's fascism for sure, not feudalism. It's if it was not fascism, I would be very happy, or not happy, but less concerned. Yeah, flood the zone is like the new way of saying it, but it's fire. It's called like the firehood of falsehoods, and there was a book that came out in 1928 called Propaganda, and that's the Germans read that. The people in the propagandist, Goebbels was, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that even, but he read that book and he used it to do German propaganda. And it works. There's like this thing in your brain, like you can hijack people who don't know. By the way, you have to be reasonably dumb, by the way, to fall for propaganda. You just have to be. Anybody that tells you everybody's susceptible to it, no, you're not. Not everybody's susceptible to it. You actually have to not know certain things in this world to actually be able to fall for it. I am an art history major. I love art. It's a common asset that unites all the cultures. Yeah. The downside is like the symbolism used in propaganda uses art. That's where the Germans did their uniforms and their symbolic symbols they stole from other cultures. That's how they are able to shorten understanding, and the marketing, it stays with you and it shrinks your window of understanding. So symbolism is critical to get right. What do you think about true medical records released to the public? I don't know what that means. It's a vague question. If you mean by Trump medical records, he's going to, like any authoritarian, any dictator, which is what he's trying to be, is a dictator. They're going to release his medical records as if he's like tip-top shape every single time. Why would they release anything else? Yeah, they're not going to release anything else, because if he has bad medical records, they're going to try. They would say there would be a case to impeach him, and kick him out of office. So they're never going to do that because he's a figurehead. Even if he's not in charge, which he is, seems like he is in charge. They're never going to release his medical records, like legit medical. Only after he's gone will that you'll find his medical records. They will either canonize him or demonize him. Right? So there's no in the middle. He's not going to be seen as in the middle kind of a person. There's a possibility they throw him under the bus and throw out what we believe him, who he is right now, and blame him for everything. And then say, oh, give us another chance. It was all because of him. Or they can canonize him, meaning they can make like deify him and make him like this, like all, I don't think he has a chance of being deified myself. I do not think they'll deify him and turn him into like some savior statue. I think that whoever comes into power after him is going to just like wipe all that out. I hope they do at least. There's got to be accountability. Do you think we have any possibility of recovering from fascism? Let's see here. Can't read it because the chat's going by so fast. Where is it? Do you think our republic will recover? I hope so. I have no idea. I'd like to say yes. The chat is going by so fast. It's crazy. Even with my slowed down chats. All right, let's see here. He would have a nuclear sized temperature. Yeah. Well, he's not going to do that. Everybody keeps saying that. He has like kids and stuff. Do you really think he's going to like do that when he has kids? I don't know. I don't know the answer. I don't think he would. What do you guys think? It's going to take a decade to recover. I think we need to put rules and laws in place, like real laws in place, to stop this from ever happening again. There are a couple of things we need to do right away. Yeah, they think liberal people would put algae in the reflecting pool. It's like, dude, it's crazy. Didn't some ex-sports person just get arrested for supposedly tearing off the blue stuff from the reflecting pool? Yet all he did was pick up part of the blue material, and he got arrested. He's being charged with a felony for holding blue stuff on camera, basically. Some of the stuff that was torn off. Crazy. Yeah, 3-time Olympian. That's it. Thank you. That's crazy, guys. There's some crazy stuff that's happening. I wish we had a leader. I wish we had a leader like a senator or a congressperson or someone to step up to lead and say, this is what we do. We would all do it. Where are they? Where is everybody? Where's Cory Booker? Where's the guy that spent 25 hours standing in Congress yammering to try and beat the record of some racist dude and get some TikTok moments? Where is he now? Where are these people? Where is everybody though? I just can't believe there's nobody currently in Congress or the Senate that's pushing back. Yeah, I saw the Peter Thiel thing. Is he going to this one, the Peter Thiel event? And I'm sure he's getting paid very handsomely to go to Peter Thiel event. Lori R88, be the leader, Lucas. Yeah. Do I look like a leader to you? I don't think so. I mean, come on now. I am far from a perfect. I wouldn't pass purity tests. You guys have too many Democrats, and I would consider myself, if I had to choose right now, of course I'm a Democrat, right? At the end of the day, of course, right? But that's part of the Democratic Party's problem is that there's like these purity tests. And I think that is very dangerous that Democrats do this. Like, you can't do this and you can't do that. And oh, by the way, there's here 500 other rules you can't do, or you can't be one of us. And I think that's dangerous. Don't you guys think it's a little dangerous to have like 1,000 purity tests that nobody knows what the purity tests are, but you got to pass those purity tests? I don't think so. Not on my watch. Yeah, Mom Donnie's awesome. I mean, how do you not like Mom Donnie? Yeah, I agree. I think social democracy is the key. And I think any extremism on any side is bad. But there is no real left side extremism. Like, we have to be honest here. The right, the far right is the extremist people. So what historical individual have you read a lot about? Basically, just a lot of people. I mean, thousands of people I've read about. There's a lot of people requesting up, but I don't know who you are, so I can't just let you in, because I've had a few people come in here and say horrible things on my live, and it was not good. I'm trying to have people up, but I don't know you, so can't do it. Now, Cake Guy Cameron I would let up. Dems are scared of being attacked like Trump is attacking Newsom. Just so you know, like, he's not really, what does he do? He's weaponized the government against them. That's why. I totally get why. Purity tests are like truth or dare for adults. I don't know what that means, but I think they're dangerous. It's Stephen Colbert for president. Yeah, I would love him to be president for sure. There are a lot of, I would like Jon Stewart to be president, actually. He'd be great. He's already, like, even though he's a comedian, guys, hello. It's dangerous to, like, we want these people to be our leaders, but I think what we need is an idealist. I'm an idealist. And I'm not saying that just because I'm an idealist, by the way. But idealists, like Obama is an idealist. I think there are a lot of, some of our presidents from the past are good idealists. I think Jon Stewart is an idealist. I think, and I didn't know I was an idealist, by the way. I was trying to figure out, like, why do I have these like very strong feelings of right and wrong? Why am I not okay with unfairness? Why am I not okay about a lot of this stuff? And I started to realize, I'm like, oh man, am I an idealist? That totally sucks. But George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, these were idealist people because they were, in a way, uncorruptible. And I think Mom Donnie is an idealist. So there's quite a few idealists in government, but not a lot, not enough idealists who are not willing to sacrifice the paycheck. I would always do the right thing. I don't know why. I'm just broken, which is why I would never be in politics, because I wouldn't be able to be purchased. I would just say, hey, pay me this amount of money and I will do the right thing every single time. That's it. I don't want to take money. I just want to have enough money by the time I'm done doing these things that I can retire and maybe be an advisor to future presidents, or be a, you know what I mean? Be a, whatever I am, be an advisor to those people, be like a voice of wisdom maybe, but not have to worry about money, right? At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. You shouldn't be, oh, I have $20 million in my bank account. I need $40 million. So I'm going to go do bad stuff to get more money. It just doesn't make sense. So Osloff seems like he's a great person. He seems like an idealist as well, but I don't know enough about Ossoff. He seems like it. He speaks really well. He's a great orator. So I'd have to look more into Ossoff. He's from Georgia, so it's hard for me to take him seriously just because of red states, but maybe I am just wrong. I know he seems great though. I can't judge him off of what I love Cory Booker, and then he's done nothing. So that's my problem with Cory Booker. I still think he has the ability to do some great stuff, but he's not doing anything. So I don't think Facebook comments are turned off. They shouldn't be, at least. I saw a bunch of comments on there earlier. Let's take a look. No, they're turned on. I can see them right here. Team Tellerico. Yeah, Tellerico's good. No, Facebook comments aren't turned off, dude. You're literally commenting. What are you talking about? They're just slowed way down. Cory booked. Yeah. Like I said, I like Cory Booker. What I don't like is his inaction when we need, maybe I am super naive. What am I doing wrong? I keep asking, what am I perceiving incorrectly that these people aren't taking action? So maybe it's me. I always try to put it back to me. My perception's not correct until I get to the end of my rope and I go, hey, my perception isn't wrong. They're literally doing nothing. So Tellerico's awesome. Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. Tellerico could be, this is just my opinion, my take. He reminds me of a lot of JFK. He's saying things, although he's a little too religious for me, which is fine as long as you don't abuse religion to hurt people with it. I don't care. Like, if you're religious, it doesn't bother me. If you use religion as your moral compass to help people, that's amazing. If you use religion to hurt people, no. I myself think religion is bad on whole because it's been used to hurt people through thousands of years as an excuse. If God be for us, then who be against us? There's a lot of things people said when they were taking on the Crusades or doing something very bad in the name of religion. Like, my religion's better than yours. That's crazy. It's basically all made up by people. I don't want to let you down and have my opinion mess up your religion because it's, believe in what you want to believe in. I think it's great if it helps you. Now, if it hurts other people, like blowing cigarette smoke in other people's face every day, and you're like, yo, I don't care if you smoke, but don't blow the smoke in my face. That's what you're doing as a Christian nationalist. Don't do that. You're destroying. Right now, if you guys are Christian, I would be really upset because if you call yourself Christians, like, these are the times when there are good and bad Christians, and there's a whole bunch of bad ones giving Christianity a bad name right now. As far as I'm concerned, if I ever hear someone say I'm Christian, I instantly think you're a Christian nationalist. They're destroying the name Christianity. The same thing with Republican or conservative. If you're a conservative or call yourself Republican, to me, you are basically saying you support fascism. And I'm not saying that lightly. I hope you guys know that. I'm not some like raging liberal, like blue-haired person like they make fun of all the time, which, by the way, there's nothing wrong with coloring your hair, whatever color you want to do. But I am for freedom. I am for being, having a liberal democracy. I can't imagine anybody being against liberal democracy. So I have a hard time with people who are in MAGA right now because they're fascists and they either don't know they're supporting fascism, which means you're dumb, or and you think you're better than other people, and you're probably almost guaranteed you're not. You think your team's going to win. It never wins. Oh, I know for a fact I'm smarter than this host, Dario. Whatever, bro. Cool story, bro. Cool story, bro. I know for a fact I'm smarter than this guy. Gotta love those people who are like trying to get attention and cry for attention. Imagine a little child like screaming for attention in the corner and having like a little temper tantrum in the corner. We have someone in the chat that's just like that. Poor little guy. Let's see. Face blue, smiling. I don't know what that means. I haven't smoked in more than 3 weeks. Smoked what? Cigarettes? You taste like cigarettes. She tastes like cigarettes. Yeah, smoking's bad. Okay. I don't think I'm smart. Math is rough for me, but I'm attentive as F. That's cool, dude. I don't think I'm smart either. I don't think really smart people think they're smart. So I'm not going to go around, hey, everybody, I'm smart. Just weird to do. It's a weird flex. I'm smarter than you. Okay, dude. Good luck with that. It's weird because you spelled I'm smarter than you wrong. Oh, gotcha. Love to bud. I figured from your username. I should have just realized that. Yeah, when fascism wins, which it does not, it will never win. Not in this country. It will never win. The thing is, like, the people who think fascism requires people to be dumb. Who said that the other day? Somebody said that to me. Fascism requires people to be really stupid. And I mean, we kind of have a country that's 30 to 35% stupid people. So I don't see that as wrong, unfortunately. I think it does require, you're either like you think you're either fascist by accident or on purpose. And there are a lot of people on the internet using the America First movement to become popular on the internet. And then once they use it to do this popularity contest, they will then try to shift their message away once they have a big audience and then go, oh, I changed my opinion. Now I am this. And you have to be very careful of these people saying horrible things on the internet. There's a group called the Hodge Twins, and they were mega MAGA dudes, two like black guys that were twin brothers. And they are now anti-MAGA. They built their audience huge, and now they are totally shifted their message away. 35% is scarily high. I don't know if it's that high. I don't think it's that scary to me. 35% of the, you think it's scary to think that America is like 30 to 35% stupid people? I'm not surprised at that at all. I would have guessed more like 55, 45. I think there's a lot of high narcissistic traded people because there are a lot of people who grew up in broken, destroyed homes. Yes, they were, I can't say the words, Miss Kim G, I can't say those words, but yes, they were on something called Pervitin. There was a World War II, it was the name of it, I think it was called Pervitin. They were like on that stuff they're called Go pills in the current military. GO pills, Go pills. They make you like wide awake. So anyway, I think there's a lot of really unintelligent people. Not that they're completely super dumb in all aspects of life, but they're smart in the one thing that helps them like live there every single day, right? They know how to do that one thing 50 different ways. So they're pretty smart. And everybody around them goes, wow, they're like the smartest people ever. They're so smart. But they have this like really narrow bandwidth of like intelligence. But they're really good at problem solving. That little box. Now, if they were to apply that intelligence to like 50 other things and then have exposure to other nationalities and education to back it up with, these people could be very smart. Education usually destroys racism and all that stuff, but they're not gonna, they think learning is for nerds. I've went to a school like this at one point when I was younger. I went to a couple different schools when I was in like high school, and I can tell you the first school was very, if you were smart, you were picked on. And then another high school I went to, it was like if you weren't smart, you were ostracized. In a way, if you were a troublemaker, people were like, oh. So I think there are a lot of red states that are far behind the times socially, that they will never, the catch-up speed is like to catch up to like the coasts, like East Coast, West Coast, to catch up to them like in a cultural way would take like they're like 10 years behind. So what's cool now will be cool 10 years from now for them. Not for everybody, of course, in those states, but the majority of them will be like, what? And then like 10 years from now, you'll see them wearing clothes you were wearing 10 years ago, right? I've noticed like some of my relatives, even in other middle parts of the country, same thing happens. Like there'll be stuff you use socially, like words and phrases and clothes, right? Fashion. And they all like wear these like things 10 years later. And it's like, they just got it. It's like new fashion to them. We have pretend smart people on the left. They promote not voting in 2024. Yeah. So I think purity testing is the problem. I think our society got a little messed up. There's a whole bunch of like craziness. We did go, let's be honest. We have to be honest with ourselves, guys. We did go a little too far left in some cases too, right? We did some things that was really far. I wouldn't say all of it. I'd say about 80% of it was normal, and about 15 to 20% of the stuff was a lot of like, I don't know. I feel like canceling people on the internet kind of went too far in a lot of cases, where people would just be canceled instantly without finding out like what happened. And I think that some bad actors took some of that stuff and ran away with it. And then right-wing media promoted those cancel things that happened, and people went crazy because of it. And I think when you do stuff like that, when good movements get hijacked by bad people, they become toxic to society. And I think cancel, I don't know what you call it. I don't know what the right term is, but there was a little too much cancel culture to be good. It started to become toxic. Even Obama, I'm making a video about this, by the way. Even Obama was like, hey, cancel culture's bad, guys. Mob rule, mob cancel culture's bad. You're like, you don't go and cancel people. That's why we have like courts and process, and you're innocent until proven guilty kind of stuff. Like, it's really dangerous to go and mob culture stuff and go and think that you are the vigilantes that are going to go cancel people on the left or the right. And the funny part is the right now tries to cancel people on the left for they do clutching of the pearls too. And it's both, no side should cancel people unless they say horrible, hateful things today. If they said something horrible, hateful today, of course, we have a social contract. Do not say horrible, hateful things to people. What's the point of doing that? What do you gain by doing that? But also, like if you said horrible things that were not culturally acceptable 15 years ago, but they were culturally acceptable 15 years ago, but they are not culturally acceptable today. You can't hold people to a different standard of what was acceptable 15, 20 years ago to today. I watch movies even today and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this movie got made. Like there's no way this movie would be made today. It's like so culturally unacceptable, but we're not canceling every actor and director and producer of these movies, right? So, oh, that's it, buddy. You're canceled. See, Peter C. Dragon. I agree. You can't even like back in there was a time period you couldn't even talk about it or you'd get canceled. You couldn't even bring it up, right? And I think when we can't even like talk about being ridiculous, we have a problem. You can't even like bring up how ridiculous we're being with certain things, then we have a problem with being ridiculous. Like, I don't think the right should not say hateful, horrible, hate speech. And we don't have any laws on speech. And I think that's a problem. I think we do need laws on speech to very clearly spell out what is hate language, what is hate speech. And then hold people accountable for saying horrible, hateful things. I don't know why that's a problem. I would never have a problem with that. Why do I have a problem with having like hate speech laws? You want to know why? Because I don't say hateful things. It's super easy. When we allow intolerant people, we tolerate intolerance, it's a problem. And I also think that, and everybody should be able to say this out loud without ever worrying about getting canceled. To be able to say canceling people just because you disagree with them is bad, or just because they said something. It depends on how awful the thing is. They said 15 years ago, of course. But if you are holding people to a cultural standard of literally today, when yesterday it was okay to say, or you wouldn't get canceled for it, but today, now everybody's outraged by something you said today, yet yesterday was okay. This is a problem. You have to let people be able to catch up to cultural changes that happen, because the internet like makes culture happen at the speed of light. And when culture changes at the speed of light, you have to understand humans don't change at the speed of light. And if imagine a rule book that's changing every few hours, and you're like, wait, the rules were this yesterday and now they're this. So the internet kind of like mob mentality of cancel culture is really dangerous, because things can change in like 1 second and all of a sudden no one knows the rules anymore. So if we're going to do boycott, cancel culture, things like that, which I think, again, it all starts off being for the right motives, right? It all starts off going in the right direction for the right reason. We're trying to hold powerful people accountable, which is why cancel culture started, right? We want to hold powerful people accountable where they don't have accountability to law. Like the law is not doing anything about it. And that's where cancel culture like came from. At least modern cancel culture came from. People weren't being held accountable. But now at some points it got out of control. So I don't want to talk about it anymore, because I don't want to have someone come in here and be like, hey, let's get to this guy. I just think it's dangerous to do extremes on right or the left. No extremes work good, which is why when you get an iPhone and it has only changed like 15%, and you're like, wow, there's not enough changes on my iPhones, because we are not good with change. We as humans suck with change. We don't like it. We want comfort. I won't eat Chick-fil-A, but I don't eat homophobic chicken. Yeah, I don't eat Chick-fil-A either. I had it once or twice or like 500 times. But the first time I ever had Chick-fil-A, K-Guy Cameron, was in 2016. That was my first ever Chick-fil-A. And it was delicious, by the way. I was like, wow, this is the best fast food I've ever had. I couldn't believe it. And then I realized how much it's supported. Hey, what's up? It does look good, right? That looked good. Face tattoos are a thing, man. I kind of like them sometimes. Anyway, so yeah, I don't, so here's how if I did cancel culture, I would stop spending money on those things. Stop supporting those things. That's how I would cancel them. That's how, in a way, if they're out saying horrible things on the internet, there's a cool way. It looks really cool, right? I really like that. I don't know why. Maybe I need some henna tattoo or something, right? I don't know why I thought that looked cool. It's dangerous. AI stuff is dangerous, like images and stuff like that. You start to get ideas. It'll be like Post Malone before you know it. Yeah, I make sure to not support things that are against, like Target's a great example. I won't shop at Target right now. They just won't get my money. So that's how I do. I cancel people with my checkbook. That's how I work, at least. Let's see if you guys notice a difference. Which one's better? Blue. Target is losing a lot. Well, I hope they do. I personally hope they do. Stop both siding right and left. I don't know what that means. You don't like my music. I don't like people who both sides it and say both sides are equal the same. I totally agree with you. I have videos about this. I think if you say both sides are the same, you're a complete disingenuous. You're just as bad as a Trump supporter to me if you say both sides are the same. I cannot stand people who try to play both sides. It's one of my worst pet peeves. You don't know what you're talking about if you say both sides are the same. It's a lazy argument. I totally agree. I wouldn't even say it's lazy. It's completely disingenuous. If you are a collaborator in my mind, if you say both sides are the same, like, what are you waiting for? If you say both sides are the same at this point, you can't get, exactly, it's a false equivalence. You can't get worse of a situation right now. People are being arrested right now. They didn't release the rest of the PDF files. Someone's obviously in them. No one's investigating any of that stuff. How do you have kids and support? Are you a MAGA supporter? It's nuts to me. And all it makes me think is these people are like him. And from my research, it's true. These people see themselves in Trump. They are him. They are high narcissistic traded people. And they are just, I don't know. It's a cult, right? At the end of the day, and people who are susceptible to a cult are lonely, isolated, have no purpose outside of whatever they do at work, are super lonely and are looking for that thing to feel special. And then they believe like the fire hose of falsehoods. Like it gives them more evidence that their worldview is correct because nothing's true. So everybody's lying but Trump. I have a video. You guys get to choose. I have 2 videos I did recently, long ones. Let's see if you got which ones you guys want me. I'm going to release one tomorrow morning. They're not long. They're like, I think the longest one's like 8 minutes. So it's not like a long video. But I have 2 videos, one on propaganda and how propaganda works in your brain. Or I have one that you might not like, but it's about right-wing baby boomers who are destroying the United States right now. So you get to choose either the propaganda video or the video about right-wing baby boomers. I'll wait. I'm still going to talk, of course, but what would you rather listen to? I know, propaganda one. You guys might. What if it's not as good as the right-wing baby boomers one? Yeah, the right wing, exactly. I agree, Rosie. But I don't know. I don't want to be. I don't want to be the person who's like swaying you. They're both probably okay. I wouldn't say they were great, but they're okay. They're both, I would say, equally okay. So if they're both equally okay, what would you really want to know? Because there's one that's about boomers, and there's one about just propaganda and how it works and like the kind of people that get tricked for it. So I need to see either a 1 for propaganda or 2 for baby boomers. 1 or 2. Gen X, what's up? Gen X, me too. All right. One was propaganda, 2 is for baby boomers. A lot of 2s so far. Not really that many 2s, only 3 2s, but a lot of 2s compared to the other 2s. All right, so 2s are winning. Wish I did the whole poll thing rather than just look at numbers on the screen. 3. Well, I don't know what 3 is. I didn't really give you a 3. How about both? I might release 2 videos at once. You guys won't watch all 2 of them. Yeah, propaganda. Cake Guy Cameron's got his 1 is worth 3 votes. I want your agrit. I don't know what that means. Agate. I don't know what that means. What did you just say, Richard? You're a weirdo, man. Well, I'm going to share both of the videos eventually, but one's being released tomorrow. So 1 plus 1 plus equals 3. What are you, a Trump supporter? Trump supporter math. Richard, I hope I'm going to have to like pause you for a minute. Oh, Richard. I'm Generation Jones too. I don't know what that means. Generation Jones. I don't know what that means. Yeah, 2 plus 2 equals 5 for MAGA, no doubt. I love when people, I love that people commented on my how conservative men don't know how to spell video. They responded to that video in the inside of the comments, and they didn't spell words correctly. I thought that was so interesting that they actually were like mad at me, but also not spelling correctly, mad back at me. I'm like, did you mean this? I thought that was funny. Oh, what is Jen Jones, 65 to 1965 to 70? I don't know. Love your videos. Thank you so much. Of course I corrected them. How could I not correct them? I have to correct their spelling. I'm like, I'd usually respond with like, how ironic you misspelled your, you misspelled your angry comment at me. Xenial. There's an Instagram guy I follow. He's a really good Instagram poster, a Xenial farmer. I always wondered what Xenial meant. I never try to miss a moment. I try to respond to every one of my comments everywhere. Unless it gets out of control, then I can't. But I try to respond to everybody's comments on Facebook and on Instagram, and on YouTube, everywhere. But sometimes it gets out of control, so I don't. Thanks, Binksy Breezy. I appreciate that. Mormons don't use the internet. Oh, I beg to differ. I like that idea. I'm going to take a screenshot of that, and I'm probably going to use it for later. Jones means you're technically a boomer, but we're a child in the 60s, therefore not. Yeah, you're not a boomer if you were a child in the 60s. You have to be like a boomer. 65 is not a boomer. Yeah, you're Gen X. Barely a Gen X, though. I mean, let's be honest. I don't know when Gen X started, actually. I don't know when Gen X started. I'd have to look that up. And no, I do not believe in astrology either. So do not bring up astrology. Yuck. 50s is boomer. Okay. I was born in 57. I don't know. I don't know if that means you're a boomer, Uncle Hippie. You know what? I actually think boomer, I think it's more of like a mentality than it is a generation. 65 is baby boomer. Oh, okay, gotcha. I didn't know that. I thought 65 years of age or 1965. 65-year-old. Okay, got it. Gen X is 65 to 80. Yeah, that's accurate. So I don't know. I guess it is. I guess you are a baby boomer. I did not know that. I know. Yeah. Okay. So 46. Yeah, that makes sense. Although my father was 1944, I think, and he was a baby boomer also. Because my dad had some shore leave, if you know what I mean. Little shore leave. $65, yep. Yeah, the environment that helps shape the right is, to me at least, from my research, is they grew up in like authoritarian households, and we're kind of like religion forms this too, like devout, like hyper Christianity, like newborn Christians forms this. So if you grow up in conservative culture, in a lot of cases, not all, of course, drives people to be suppression of your emotions, suppression of like your sexuality, suppression of like a bunch of stuff, and it pushes you into being a person who is subservient in a way, like a person who gets pushed into obey and submit to authority. And those people grow up in toxic households usually, and I think you can go two ways. This is my opinion, so take it with a grain of salt. But you can go two ways. Like, you're either forced into this like right wing, this is the way, bow down and submit, and then that drives everything else in your life in a negative way, and also neglect of parents and stuff like that. These parents are usually pretty authoritarian and like, my rules or you're out. I'll give you something to cry about stuff, right? These people they either become like black sheep, or they become subservient and like what they call the obedient children. And those obedient children learn to torment the other kids in the family that are the black sheep or the forgotten kid. And they learn that hurting people perceived, empathy as weakness, showing emotion as weakness, being kind to others as weakness. And they develop toxic traits from the parent. And also people do inherit and a lot of times will take on political leanings of their parents. They used to do that. I used to call myself, what's up, Hook 180? I remember you. I used to consider myself, I used to tell this to people when I was younger. I didn't even have any money to talk about, but I would be like, I'm a Democrat, but I'm a Republican. And I was just like, bro, I made like $300 a week or $400 a week. And I'm like, how am I fiscally a Republican? I don't even know what that means. I didn't even know what it meant. But I used to say that all the time because everybody I knew was like, oh no, socially I'm a Democrat, but fiscally I'm a Republican. And it's like, what? Then you have to like learn what that actually means. And I was not anything a Republican. And I'm like, so I opted out for a lot of years. I was just like, I don't want to do politics. It just, all it does is separates people from getting along with each other. And life's already hard as it is. Like, why would you want to not get along with people? Have more reasons to not get along with people than okay, so the left are hippies, free love parents. So why you advocating for fascism? Hey, Kin11, you saying that is you are an indoctrinated cult member for even saying that. No one wants fascism. The only people that want fascism are the right. And you are either a fascist or you're probably not even in this country right now. You're probably you're probably in another country just like trolling me or something. But you are you're either fascist by stupidity, which is my guess is what you are either a troll or stupid, or you know exactly what you're saying and you're being completely a bad faith speaker right now. So which one is it? I don't know what that means, but I'm about to put you on out of the chat. Most of my dad's side of the family are psychopaths. Yeah, I don't know about psychopaths. See, that's the thing. We throw around these terms. I worry about throwing around pop psychology. We destroy words like the word narcissist like crazy. We use it way too much. Pop psychology, like here's how you just find a covert and overt narcissist, and you know under the rug narcissist. There's like 5,000 like narcissistic terms right now that pop psychology came in and destroyed the term narcissism when it actually has a pretty cut and dry way of like determining if someone's actually has high narcissistic traits or like lower narcissistic traits, or they fit into a box of narcissistic personality disorder, or there's also traits of like malignant narcissism. But like, don't just make shit up. I hate that. Oh, this guy was a jerk to me, or this girl was a jerk to me. They're narcissists. Like, I hate that. Don't just use it as an insult. It actually has meaning, and you using it willy-nilly destroys the meaning of the word. Yeah, you're wrong, whatever your name is. No one wants hate speech. And yes, it's okay to restrict hate speech. I think it's completely reasonable to restrict hate speech. And if you are against hate speech, then you are the fascist. Sorry to say that, little man. Let's look at your profile. Let me guess, you probably have like 2 followers. You probably post none of your own content. Why am I not surprised? Oh, wow, what a surprise. A Trump supporter who's reposting stuff about like crazy stuff. People like you, man. People like you. Black sheep can easily see Trump for what he is. Absolutely correct. Because you see what every black sheep around sees is your authoritarian, narcissistic family dynamic that puts you in the black sheep role. So you see the abusiveness that comes from that. And black sheep can easily see the abuse coming from a mile away because you recognize it in your family. Whatever family system you worked with, you see it in those, you see it in Trump. He's an abusive person. He's exactly the same as however you were made into a black sheep, whether it be via your family or via another situation. You could be made, and maybe I'm using the term black sheep, right? Liberally, I guess you could say. I'm using it in a wrong way also, because I'm also saying you could be a black sheep by being ostracized inside of a friend group, and then you being in that group and like kind of seen as the one that's always the too sensitive person. You can then be labeled that role, but usually you're labeled that role in a friend group or in a family group in a similar kind of mechanism, because there's someone in that group that is a narcissistic type person that wants you to obey their rules, and they put you in this category of asking too many questions or being too sensitive. I think it can happen there too. Yeah, black sheep knows. I don't even know what you're saying, Crin 11. All I know is you're very cringe like. I was hypervigilant about abusers. Yeah, I have a little bit of hypervigilance as well. I definitely know what that is. It's like a really sad superpower to like get, because you have to go through so much to be a hypervigilant person. I am like, I have to admit, I guess I'm massively hypervigilant. I'm always scanning. I walk into a new place. I'm looking at the doors. I'm looking at exits. I'm looking at like how to get out. I'm looking at problems instantly. Is it, what's going on? I am hyper aware of my surroundings, way more than normal people. And it's exhausting. It is exhausting. People don't understand when you are in this hypervigilant thing, this loop. You can't turn it off. It is a symptom of sometimes it's a symptom of CPTSD is what's called complex post-traumatic stress. Because when you're a kid, this is just from research I did. So do not listen to what I'm saying completely. Look it up yourself. Do some real research. You know what I mean? Like read some peer-reviewed studies. Like go through the psychology yourself. Do not just take my word for it. But from what I've learned, it is I always thought that complex PTSD is something like soldiers got, right? Or you were in like combat or something like that. And it's like, no, actually kids can get it way worse, because you are literally trapped in a family dynamic. You are a captive. You can't leave your family. You know what I mean? When you're a kid. So you are literally in this prison of go along to get along. And once you're labeled as a black sheep, or the forgotten child as well, by the way, the forgotten child can also be abused with neglect. It's all abuse. And it's funny how we are not allowed to like bring it up to the people who are the abusers. I don't mean it be like physical abuse, by the way. It could be that too, of course. But when what I learned I don't know if you guys come from, but my background is my father was a drinker, and then he quit. And then we all learned when I think I was like 10 years old or something like that. We learned that by going to this, like, my dad needed to like drop us off sometimes so he could go to his like 12-step meeting. So we would go to like the little meetings, the meetings for like kids that are of alcoholics. I think it's called like Alateen. So we would go into this like meetings and learn that the reason why these people didn't want to talk about problems or feelings or any of this stuff is that they were the cause of the problems. They were the cause of people to have feelings. So they didn't ever want to talk about these things. So they would shut you down by saying, you're too dramatic. You're asking too many questions. You're too much for me. because if you brought any of your feelings or emotions up, they would want to squash you because they caused you to have bad feelings and emotions. So of course they didn't want to talk about it. They were the cause of it. And I learned that when I was like 10, I think I was, or 11. I can't remember. But I was like, whoa, that really hit. And I was like, whoa, that really makes a lot of sense. And then I asked that question to my father very soon after that, and he did not like that question. So he was like, you're always asking too many questions. So I learned you just can't. There's a certain point where you stop. You have to shrink yourself in a narcissistic dynamic to survive. So if you are any kind of intelligent person, and I'm not saying I'm smart, I'm just saying, like, if you have thoughts or questions or anything, you're just not allowed to bring it up. Uncomfortable emotions were not to be spoken of or brought up. It was a long time ago. So yes, abusers are narcissistic people. Yeah. They're also, I mean, I don't know. I think yes, I think most of them are. I've never met one that wasn't, but I don't really know too many people who are, like, I don't know that they're abusers, because abusers, I don't think, really tell you that they're abusers, right? So you don't know, right? But all I know is that every Trump supporter, there are some features of Trump supporters that are super obvious once you see them. You can't, like, look the other way anymore. Like, they can never admit they're wrong. Way before Trump supporters. All these people that became Trump supporters can never admit they're wrong. Are always trying to convince you of something that's completely not true. They gaslight a lot. I've never met a MAGA that wasn't a narcissistic person. I'd like to think I'm wrong, but I just keep everybody I know that's currently, even right now, a MAGA supporter, they are all hyper narcissistic people. I don't know why more people aren't talking about this. Like, we have diagnosed the United States by putting a narcissistic person in charge, and everybody that's supporting him now, that is our new, like, psych rating of, like, how many people are have high narcissistic traits in the United States. Well, now we know 35%. It is much higher than, obviously, and full-on narcissistic personality disorders. Like, I think it was like between 1% and like 5% of the population. But I think people with high narcissistic traits are much higher. And I think we're seeing that now. Yes, they deflect, they gaslight, they can never take accountability. They'll never own anything. It's never their fault. So they can never admit they're wrong, and it's never their fault. It's always either an inanimate object's fault or it's somebody's fault, but it's never their fault. It's always bad luck. Like, something caused their bad luck, and it's never them. Thanks, I appreciate that. My grandparents and my mom like to drink. My mom doesn't drink as much now. You can also be a dry drunk. There's some people I know that stop drinking, and I wish they would start drinking again. Some of these dry drunks they mainline religion instead of, like, drinking or drugs. They go to religion, and that's pretty harsh drug also. That's the thing about religion. It also attracts highly narcissistic people as well. Great evening, War and Peace. Oh, great username. How did I forget that one? War and Peace. I agree with being too far gone, many of them. If you play a game of chess with a pigeon, it knocks over the pieces. Yep, craps on the board and around. Yep, exactly. Dude, yes. And I know a 5-year-old kid, literally, I know a kid who's related to me that does the exact same thing. Will get upset and he's about to lose and he'll knock over the board before he loses. So I'm like, hey, dude, don't do that. That's what a child does. And that's exactly what narcissists do as well. They don't want to lose. They don't want to be told they were wrong. They're just super insecure people. And then they're very critical of other people too, which I find also fascinating. Like I've known some that were like heavy set, like heavier people, basically overweight, yet they make fun of overweight people. And I'm like, wait a minute. You're making fun of overweight people and you're like literally 100 pounds overweight. Like, what are you doing? And they are completely, it's like they are oblivious. But what they're trying to do is distract you from, and they're projecting out their insecurity. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Don't look at me. Look at all these other things that are wrong with the world. See how smart I am? So they will criticize everybody, but never, ever be able to look inward. I can't relate to that piece of what narcissistic people are. They don't self-reflect. And I've never been able to understand not being able to self-reflect. It just doesn't make sense to me. How can you not be reflective of what you did today? How can you not think of, did you cause harm today? Did what you say, be careful and measured of what you say, because you don't want to be offensive. You don't want to harm people even by accident. Like, why would you want to? Why is it so easy to not harm people with your words also? It's really easy to not hurt people by saying bad things. It's not that they don't care, yes, but they don't care because they don't self-reflect, because they're so broken. It's usually because they're broken from childhood. It's almost always because of childhood. Sometimes you're born with stuff, like a different brain chemistry that makes you seem narcissistic. But what I've read, it's nurture more than it is nature. It's not always nurture, but it's nurture more often than nature. There's an explanation for it in nurture almost always. Yeah, so there is a subconscious defense mechanism, exactly. And the thing is, it's hard to relate to like subconscious defense mechanisms because you don't have it. If someone points something out of you, if you're a normal person who can take somebody going, hey, you know what? Don't say that. It kind of like bothered me. You should be like, oh, what did I say that bothered you? Whoops. Like, what was it that bothered? You know what I mean? Like you ask questions. You don't get uncomfortable with it. You don't go, oh, you're too sensitive. Oh, zip it. I don't want to hear it. You know, it's your fault that I offended you with my words. Like, that's crazy to say. Unless your words were not offensive and the person could be too sensitive. But if you don't self-reflect, you'll never know. So how would you ever know what you said was okay if you can't self-reflect? And I have a hard time understanding it. Like I said, I cannot relate to that kind of concept. They do get off by punching down. Yes, that is correct. They punch down on everybody, though. They try to punch down on you. If you show any weakness, even sharing information with them, to them sometimes is weakness. You could share like a win with a narcissistic person, and they'll be the first ones to go, wow, you really got lucky. Good job. They don't go, wow, that's really great news. They use it to try to they'll flip it on you and try to make it so that you second guess whether you actually were good at something. They'll make you think like, oh, maybe I was just lucky and I'm really not good at this thing. They live for that. That's another way they punch down without you realizing they're punching down. They're jealous And I'm using the word jealous in a way that is not exactly what you think of. Bad things, a lot of good things too, right? But I did something when I was in my teenage years that, I made the front page paper of the newspaper because I did something amazing. I didn't think it was amazing, but according to these people, they thought it was amazing. I'm like, this is what anybody would do. But my family very much like chopped me down to keep me in line without me saying anything. I didn't think much of it. But they said a lot of negative things like, oh yeah, that's not that big of a deal. Who cares? And I'm like, okay, I didn't say it was. All these other people are saying it was. And it was interesting. They would preemptively try to like strike you down from good stuff. Like you win at a soccer game, or you get a promotion at work. They'll be like, oh, okay, that's great. And then they will like move on and like start talking about themselves. They don't care that you win. They just want to talk about themselves. I don't know if it's jealousy. I think it's just a defense mechanism of insecurity. Maybe it is the way they handle jealousy, right? Maybe it is the way they do handle jealousy. It's possible. Yeah, that's the thing. I've never had a narcissistic friend genuinely say, good job for any of the stuff I've ever done. No narcissistic. Anytime I ever told a narcissistic friend, it's always like, oh yeah, good job. And it's like, you can just see that they're just like not happy about it. And people who are, I'm a person that gasses people up. I'm like, I'm genuinely happy when people win. I want people to win. And then I would love to learn. And if I envy, everybody envies, right? My envy turns to, how can I be like them? What do I need to do to emulate this person I am envious of? Because what they're doing is obviously something cool to me. I want to be like them. How do I learn to do that? I am not going to go and chop them down. It doesn't even cross my mind to do that. So a lot of people will not do that, and they will chop people down. And I've never been a person that cuts people down. I always gas people up, because why would you cut people down? It just makes you look bad, and it makes everybody look bad. Right? Spell check won't let me post egocentrism. Sorry about that. Canada in the house. Love Canadians, love Western Europeans, love my continent of Africa. I love everybody. Except for some Americans right now. Really tough to deal with. And the far right party in the UK, of course. And of course the far right party, the AfD in Germany. F those people. Fascists, go home. Love Canada. Don't give up on us. I don't know what that means. But yeah, I love Canada. I'm a big fan. It's cold, but you are such nice people. And your society. So I'm envious of your society, because you seem like you're really good to each other. Or at least, again, that's what I perceive. I could be wrong. But Western Europe, the Nordic countries, yeah, F fascism, I agree. Yeah, fascism is bad. Adrian, I love you too. Thank you. War and Peace. Man, that's a good name. How about Walmart being a new tourist attraction for World Cup? That's crazy, but I kind of get it. I don't think they have superstores over in Europe. In Western Europe, they definitely do not have superstores as far as I could tell. When I was there, I saw nothing for like big stores. Even in like the heart of Paris, there was not like huge giant shopping, like one giant store. Like it was just never, I just didn't see it anywhere in at least the 3 countries I was in. Yeah, Antifa members, DOJ going after it. Yeah, they are. They're going after, actually after just just anti. They're not Antifa. They spelled it out in their they spelled it out as like anti-fascist. They literally said anti-fascist, which makes this giant window of opportunity to label anybody anti-fascist. They removed the word Antifa and put in anti-fascist. Word for word. It's kind of crazy. You can go find it on the internet if you want to. Go look up it was released May of 2026, their anti-terrorism document. And yeah, there's no such thing as Antifa, I agree. I mean, dude, you could be Antifa right now. You could easily just put a t-shirt on that says Antifa and now you're an Antifa member. Anybody that's anti-fascist is basically it. Yeah, it's just opposing fascism, exactly. I think it's Italian, isn't it? What's called anarchists. I looked at that. I looked into the Antifa symbol, and I was not a fan of everything they stood for either. Like, I'm not a fan of anarchy. I don't want anarchy. No. So the downside is they stand for that too a little bit because it's part of their symbolism. And which means someone should start a different organization that's literally just yeah, fascism was built in Italy, invented by Benito Mussolini. And I believe it was 18 or 1920? I can't remember. But he invented the term fascism. Anyway, so I think we need to come up with a new term that's not Antifa, but that means opposed to fascism. That does not have anarchy in it, because Antifa does have anarchy in the anti-fascist thing. And I don't think that's good to have that in there. I am anti-fascist. I am not Antifa. Because again, that piece that's in there, that's anarchy, is just not my thing. I like having order. I like having rules and laws and stuff like that. I think it's good. Keeps honest people honest. Well, not always, but most of the time. Yeah, freedom is really important, but anarchy is not good. Anarchy is basically no Mad Max Thunderdome. If you ever seen any of the Mad Max movies, that's anarchy. Yeah, you know what's even better of a book? I don't know if you've read it or not, but How Fascism Works by Jason Stanley. That is a great book. Very well written. There's a couple of them that are out there, but there's a few, I wouldn't say a lot. There's a few experts out there that really make me angry. I don't really get angry, but make me frustrated. Because they are like, it's not fascism until you stamp out democracy completely. So they'll not say it's fascism until like democracy is completely gone. What is the point of you people if you can't say we're like 95% there, dude? Let's start acting. Charlie Kirk's, yeah, I don't know if that would classify as anarchy. But you know what it does classify as? Fascism celebrates violence. It holds up on a pedestal violence, and violence is not good. If you guys aren't aware of that. Nobody wins, everybody loses with violence. All right, let's see. Break a deal, face the wheel. Oh my God. Sounds like Game of Thrones over here. Yep, there's a psychological reason for that. Fascism is just capitalism with its gloves off. I mean, so Lucas Beans, yep, you know it, Jose. Frijoles over here, Mr. Frijoles. Um, Fascism is capitalism. It's when the government protects private. I mean, fascism basically gets into a relationship, a symbiotic relationship with private government, private companies. What's called, and then they build something called corporatism. So the government is in cahoots with private companies, and they lead by violence. And they make sure that private property gets maintained, but only for the people who already own it. And the government then destroys any opposition to those companies as well. If you also say no to the government, like Anthropic did in under Benito Mussolini, they destroyed companies that fought against fascism. So Mussolini would send his goons to like go beat up people. If they said no, he would destroy the company. And what do you think Trump is doing right now to Anthropic? Just look it up. Like Anthropic said no, and the government is trying to destroy Anthropic now. At minimum, they're kneecapping Anthropic because they said no. But as soon as they said no to the government, they started saying rip it out of all systems, like do not use Anthropic. Bad times. Yeah, fascism does have capitalists involved. Of course they do. Yep. Exactly right. Private companies. And they're protected by the government because they're in on the private companies. The people in government are taking payoffs and getting rich, probably and owning a percentage of those companies. Fascism, just a bunch of horrible people get in charge and burn through people like their resources. Now, here's something I don't know if you guys thought about, though, is that I'm worried because because AI is here, it is to a point where maybe they feel like they need a fascist dictatorial government to maintain order because AI is disrupting the workforce so much. They will need to have authoritarian rule to keep people in line. So all these people who are going to try to, I guess, protest in the streets or try to have a strike, they will be able to squash those strikes really easy because of fascism, because there's a authoritarian rule. So no longer can you go and protest because everybody's unemployed because of AI. So you have to think of it like that too. Because if there's going to be, like, let's just say it's 10% unemployment. Imagine a 10% or 15% or 20% unemployment rate. Consumerism breaks. The entire economy, everything gets destroyed. We have to rethink our economy because consumerism won't work anymore because no one will have money anymore. So a 10 to 20% unemployment rate will cause people to go, they have nothing else to do except for like strike and be out in the streets. They don't have to go to work. So it won't be good for a government to try and maintain order. Curtis Yarvin is not a scary person. He should not have any position in our society. He should be like, not be a teacher, whatever he's doing, like let him do his private sector work all he wants, but he shouldn't be teaching young minds. He shouldn't be doing anything. He's a psycho. He's a delusional fool, Curtis Yarvin. I didn't even know who he was like 3 or 4 months ago. When I looked into him, I was like, is this guy crazy? Have you seen this guy? He's one of those guys that like picks on, he's one of those people that will pick on things that he hates about himself and other people and blame other people. It's projection, but it's that the projection that's like reaction formation where you see it in yourself, so you attack other people for it. I think most of the toxic stuff that's happened in our human like evolution in life was reaction formation and done by narcissistic, insecure people. I think we've had this problem for a long time, and we call them tyrants, or we called them, just horrible people, but they were broken, destroyed people that should never have gotten power ever. There has to be a test for leadership in a civilized society, and I don't think we have one. Yeah, Yarvin's I don't know if he's a dangerous person. He's only dangerous if people listen to him. Peter Thiel thinks he's cool, I guess, but Y'all want MAGA in a nutshell? Asmongold. Sorry, I said it in a southern accent, but y'all want MAGA in a nutshell? It's Asmongold. Dumb as bricks. Living with the roaches. Doesn't know how to express his lack of confidence and self-worth without projection. Hee-haw. Yeah, I agree. Asmongold is a very rage-filled little guy that he acts like he has no emotion. And he lives in a dirty, disgusting house. And his mother was like 1,000 pounds. He grew up in a very dysfunctional, messed up situation. And now he's, multimillionaire living in the same house his mother passed away in. Doesn't clean his house, had like raccoons living in the ceiling, crazy stuff. I looked into that dude. Once I realized like who he was, I was like, oh my God, this guy is saying such toxic stuff. And I was like, I saw clips of him. And then I was like, you know what? I don't want to just trust the clips, the videos I see of this guy. I'm going to go see what this guy really says. Then I watched a couple of his long form streams and I was like, I watched his story. He told his story. I don't know if you guys know who Asmongold is. If you ever want to go check him out, he has there's a story where people actually interview him and he like spits out like where he came from and stuff like that. A really messed up, super messed up people, grew up in like squalor, basically. His mother never cleaned the house. It was disgusting. Never vacuumed once. She was a hoarder. He's become a hoarder. He just like throws trash on his floor and it just piles up behind him till someone comes and like cleans him out of his house. He sleeps right where he streams and he wakes up. Like he just gets up and starts streaming again, then falls asleep on a disgustingly dirty bed with no sheets on it. Gross. You have to be a real damaged person to live a life like that and think it's good. Yeah, you know what's funny? Like Obama, I agree. Obama's one of the most decent people ever. But the thing is, there's so many people. It is a great reminder to see that there are decent people like Obama out there. I would say the vast majority of people maybe are not as well spoken and articulate as Obama, but are kind and like Obama. I feel like that is true. And I think there are like I said, 30%. I'm going to say more like 30 million Americans are very narcissistic people. And I think some of the people that are narcissistic with them are being carried along with it as well. Yeah, they are racing to get a surveillance state before stupid people figure it out. I agree. But the thing is, they'll never figure it out. But I do miss Obama, a ray of sunshine. I agree with that statement. I miss decency, normal, decent people. Now it's some toxic MF who tries to make it about himself every single day. We have a useful fool in office. Obama and Biden were both very effective presidents. Yeah, they were. I don't know why we keep electing old people though. And I'm not saying old people are bad. I just think they're more likely to be conservative. And I think we need like a Mamdani or a Tallarico or Obama was a good age when he came into office. Wasn't he in his 40s? Like he was a great president, I thought. I think Mamdani, Obama, Tallarico are all in the same kind of like decency categories. Those three people are awesome. Other ones like Bernie Sanders, like he's a pretty great guy also. But he's old. Like I'm worried about him. I don't know about AOC. I think AOC's cool, but she's considered, which I think is weird. She doesn't seem like a far left person. But she's considered like far left. I wish she was more like Mamdani. I wish AOC was more like Mamdani. I think she's more center Democrat than she is, to me, my opinion of her is she's more center Democrat than Mamdani is. I think I wish she was more like Mamdani. He's a very and it's not because he's a guy, by the way. I think he's just likable. He's likable. Tallarico's likable, even though he's a little more conservative for me too. He's a little too religious-y. AOC, I used to feel like I knew who she was, but now I feel like she's a little more too center establishment type of person now. But I don't know. I don't know enough about her. I think trying to invent terms is a really bad idea. And I think Bernie Sanders and AOC going around the United States trying to say, stop the oligarchy it doesn't have any teeth because no one knows what oligarchy means. There's not been 40 years of beating into our heads what the term oligarchy means. And if you ask 10 Americans right now what oligarchy means, I can almost guarantee you that 10 out of 10 will not know what it means. And if they don't know what it means, how are you supposed to build a movement on a word nobody knows what it means? Stop the oligarchy. It's like, okay, what does that even mean? I miss boring politics where I am not on hypervigilance. Yes. Okay, Guy Cameron took the words right out of my mouth. I like the idea of sleeping and not waking up to some new dramatic threatening of an entire civilization being wiped out. I'm a huge fan of that. I also here's one thing I also think is cool about I guess the people we went to war with. They realize it's not Americans. It's Trump. So they aren't attacking us. I don't know if you guys, has anybody noticed that, but they're not really attacking Americans. Which is great because they know we are not for this. So that they know that if they were to do that, that the country would unite around Trump. And they're not going to do that, which is good. So that they actually know that Americans don't want this, which is great news. Yeah, no more grandparents for parents. For president, I totally agree. They need to be, I think president should be like 40 or 50 years old, like maximum. No more. I'm not trying to be an ageist. I'm just trying to be realistic here. I think we need to have a basic civics test. I think people need to be qualified. I think you need to have like a law degree or at least a master's degree in something. I think you should be like educated. I think there should be, again, a psychological exam for sure. Like we need to analyze people to find out like, are these people messed up? Are they, toxic narcissists, or are they just regular spectrum type people? Because there's narcissism is a spectrum. We're all narcissistic to an extent. And, you know, you can take a test and probably figure it out, but I don't know how accurate they are. But if you can self-reflect, you're likely not high on the narcissistic range, and truly self-reflect, which is, again, I can't believe that there are people in the world that cannot self-reflect. There's like this weird cognitive block from, they just blame everybody else. They don't even try to think. It's a weird block that just blames everybody and everything else but themselves. Can you believe that exists? Because I have a hard time believing that, right? It's hard to believe it because I can't relate to it at all. So it can be changed, but they have to be able to self-reflect. They have to care so that they're hurting someone. I think the only way for a truly very deep narcissistic person to change, and this is from research, take it with a grain of salt, but I believe it's if they have to have like an ego death of some kind. Something really bad has to happen in their lives. And I don't mean physically bad. I mean like emotionally bad has to happen in their lives for them to have this awakening. Like they have to lose something of value in their life. It could be physical. Most of the time it was like emotional, something emotionally is missing, and they just break, and it breaks them, and then they can possibly recover from it. Lucas, me and my dad think you're brilliant. Thanks very much. It's really nice of you. That's good to hear. Thanks, Kyoko. That's a cool name, by the way. NPD is incurable. Yes. NPD is incurable. I think you're right. Yep. And malignant narcissism is incurable. There are certain ones, but I don't think there's a lot of narcissistic, like clinically narcissistic personality disordered people in the world. I think the number was between 1% and 5%, which is a pretty big range, by the way. It's a pretty big range. If you really think about that, that's like saying it's either 20, it's either, it's a pretty big range to say between 1% and 5%. It's a lot of people. MAGA read some history books. Yeah, right. I wish they would. God, that would be great, right? Imagine if they could like connect. Like you have to remember, like there are people in the United States. I made a video about this. Their IQ is less than 100. I think the number was like 25% of the population have an IQ of less than 100. I think 100 is average people. People with a 90 IQ is not good. And the 10 points sounds like not a lot, but it's a lot when it gets to that low IQ. They're very easy to trick, and they're also very, when you're that dumb, you don't want, like, it's like this weird, I've met people like that. They'll never admit they're wrong about things. They'll be like, yeah, I already knew that. They'll be like, they'll look over a cliff and they'll be like, whoa, that's far down, they'll say. And you'll say, nope, it's not that far down. You're wrong. I knew that. And they'll just like walk right off the cliff. And you'll be like, what are you doing? They'll just do some stupid thing. And you'll be like, oh, I didn't really mean that. They don't critically understand certain things. And I'm not trying to belittle anybody's intelligence, by the way. I'm just saying, like, it's really hard when you're a 100 IQ person or higher. It's really hard to relate to somebody's cognitive skills being so low. And there's 25% of the population have under 100 IQ. And there is a range of IQs, of course, guys. So I'm not saying everybody with a low IQ is bad. Sometimes they just have bad standardized testing, right? A lot of stuff. But yeah, I just saw someone say ego death. Ego death is something that can definitely change you, for sure. I don't really know how to define ego death, though. It's basically, where is that? I keep getting to it, and this chat keeps going too fast. Death is basically a fatal wound to a person who has built their persona around. Yes, exactly. That's exactly it. So they build their sense of perception of themselves a certain way. This is how I interpret that. And once they collapse of like who they think they are, then I feel like they can rebuild. Mr. DJ, what's up? I feel like they have the opportunity to like rebuild themselves from a new foundation. You either become like a mess and become addicted to drugs because you don't know who you are. There's like this really dark path you could go down when you have an ego death, or you can build yourself back up with a better foundation and get help, and understand that you weren't the person you thought you were, regardless of what it was. It's kind of like a person who, I'm going to try and simplify the idea. Let's pretend I'm a really good basketball player, or I think I'm like a really good basketball player. I am like the best basketball player. I'm the best. And then someone comes in and smokes me like 10-0. We're playing by 1 point every shot. I'm like, wait a minute, how'd this guy beat me? I thought I was the best. And then that happens to you like 10 more times in front of everybody you care's opinion looking at you. And you go, oh my God. And then everybody's like, we don't know who you are. I thought you were this amazing basketball player. And the shame inside of you of like who you thought you were becomes so big that you just can't run away from it. And that's what like happens. You get this ego death. And I've heard about this ego death with like DMT and stuff. I've heard about that where you can take some kind of hallucinogen and it can happen. I think there's also just like, there's a lot of people in this world, I believe, that can just take in new information. You don't need to have an ego death. You take in new information and you can evolve. I wouldn't say it wouldn't be exactly real time, but you can take ownership in things, can listen to new information, has some critical thinking. I wasn't always like someone who can just like take it. I think I was always someone who could take in information, but I wasn't always, I think when I was younger, I was a little more insecure, egotistical, I guess you could say. And then you just learn that every time you think you're good at something, there are a million people that are better than you at it. So it's hard to not be able to like see that in yourself and be able to take criticism. You know, it doesn't have to, I don't think it needs to be criticism. I think criticism has a bad rap. Everybody thinks like you're going to be critical or say something negative to them. You might take it as negative, but it's feedback. I think people have a hard time taking feedback about themselves. If we rebrand what we're saying, like taking negative feedback, it's feedback about how you act and how you are perceived. And it depends on who is communicating that feedback to you, because they could be bad people giving you feedback you didn't ask for. I've many a times gotten unrequested feedback that was literally just meant to hurt me and make me overthink, because people knew what kind of a person I was. Like I trusted them and they say something that was creating feedback in my head and go, oh, maybe it is me. Maybe and you start to like overthink and go, how did I do this wrong? But then you write it down on paper. And this is when I was a younger person, of course. When you don't trust yourself and you don't trust your judgment, you write stuff down and you can find out, like on paper, you can say, hey, if this was anybody else, and this is how I learned what was good feedback and what was bad feedback, right? Who to take it from, who not to take it from. When I was like in my late teens, early 20s, I realized you could write it down and then realize, like, if this was anybody else, is this good feedback and would you tell them to believe it or not? And if the answer was yes, you would take it in and then figure out like how you could change or be better. And if it was feedback from somebody you just didn't trust or thought were negative to a lot of other people, you would then, act accordingly off of that. You suck at basketball. Yeah. I mean, I'm 6'5", Peter. So if you could try to play me in basketball, but I'd probably like swat you like a fly out of the air. It would be really easy to just literally swat the ball every time you shot. But I mean, hey, you could try. Yeah. You'd probably beat me though. I haven't played basketball in a while. Although I did pick up a basketball the other day and I still got the moves. I was surprised. But I don't mind losing too. I don't mind losing at basketball. I don't mind losing at games and stuff like that. I don't feel bad about it. I'm like, ugh. Maybe when I was like 10, I felt bad about it. Yeah, I'm 6'5". You can't tell because there's nobody around right now, but I'm a giant dude. I'm a dude, only bigger. I'm 62. That's cool. Some of it comes with maturity. Yeah, I agree with that. I also was placed in the responsibility where I was around like real people and ran real businesses in my life, right? So you have to work with people of different intelligence levels. Most of them either smart as you or smarter than you in many cases. And you have to be open to, this is a company is not a democracy. It is a private entity, like every company I ever worked for, or was in charge of a division or in charge of whatever at a company, you have to be able to work with people. You have to be okay with them your idea is not the best idea in the room. I hope my ideas are not the best in the room most times when I work with people. I don't care who has the best idea. I just want the best idea. I don't have the ego of like, it's got to be my idea. No, I want to give credit to where credit is due. And on top of that, I just want the best idea. And usually that's what I like about analytics and numbers and science and facts is that the numbers don't lie usually, as long as you put in legitimate numbers in the first place. You can tell opinions don't matter. The analytics tell you like what is the truth. I've known geniuses. I still leverage my IQ better. Okay. I don't know what that means, but cool, man. I don't really care. Anybody that brags about IQ, you're over 57. I don't know who that is. You look great. I don't know who you're talking to, but I am not 57. I would look great at 57. Trump IQ is lower than Forrest Gump. I'd rather have Forrest Gump as a president, that's for sure. My grandson is 16 and 6'4". Nice. Well, if he's 16 and 6'4", he'd definitely smoke me at pretty much every sport right now. I can't obviously move like I'm 16. Gump would do way better. He even knows, Gump even knew better. He was a decent dude. Even though he was taken advantage of in a few ways, he still was like a genuinely good dude. People felt bad taking advantage of him in the movie. Like to the point where they were friendly to him. They realized like this guy's so endearingly slow. Like it's nice to him. Like, how can you be mean to someone that's so nice like that? I can't relate to that concept either. Why be mean to people? Like maybe when you're like a kid and you don't know any better, right? You're like a 7-year-old, like picking on another kid and you don't really know, or a 6-year-old or whatever the age. But once you become like an adult, like how could you be mean to like, this doesn't make sense to me. Whatever. Forrest had empathy. Yeah, he did. He had very much empathy. I never thought. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Psychology and politics. I didn't even think psychology and politics would be interesting. I started doing it because I needed to understand it. So I was just like, holy cow, like this explains so much. And that's when I started making videos. Trump is not. Here's the deal. Everybody keeps saying Trump is low IQ. Everybody keeps saying Trump is high IQ. I think Trump has he doesn't seem like he's really dumb. I don't think he's really dumb, but I don't know him also, right? The people who know him said he was really dumb. The way he talks, there are some times I see in Trump the relatableness. He says things that are almost normal sometimes, very rarely, but you see something and you're like, oh, that was like almost normal what he just said. What he's doing, just so you guys know, I'm going to let you know. If you haven't recognized it, exactly. Callie Rising said it right. Abusers do what's called intermittent rewards. They will be horrible people. Thanks very much, Edoris. They'll do what's called intermittent reward systems, right? They'll be a jerk to you 80% of 90%, 80 to 90% of the time. And then they'll be like super nice one day. And you're like, oh, whoa, what is this? And the people who are used to that will get hooked again and go, well, they can be a good person. Whoa. Well, they look at that. They actually said something relatable. Oh my God, that was a kind thing, almost like not even close to kind, but you're just so used to the abuse that anything, you're just like, whoa. So the intermittent reward system is a very 80-20, 90-10, horrible to good. And when they show that one little piece of like humanity, it is, yeah, Jekyll and Hyde. Abusers do Jekyll and Hyde. Yeah, but he does mostly Jekyll. Mr. Hyde is like 10%. Yes, people will keep you on your toes, walking on eggshells, I call it. But yeah, it's very Jekyll and Hyde attitude. Very well said, by the way. I say that all the time. I've met many people in my life that were like, you're just like, wow, what a great conversation I had. You go to sleep, you feel great. The next day, you're like, this person explodes with like rage over something trivial. And you're like, what just happened? Like you're like literally ruined what we had yesterday. I thought we connected like on a new level and now you're like crazy again. It's intermittent reward systems. And it's like, you have to be really careful of that as being empathetic, normal people with like certain levels of empathy. You're looking for the good in people. You're betting on people's potential. And when you look for potential and you see potential in people, that's all you're looking for, is for that little glint of, I can change this person, or it's going to be different now. They've come to a eureka moment because they showed some semblance of grace or some semblance of like humanity for like 10 seconds. And you're like, oh my God, things are going to be different now. And then no, it gets destroyed the next day. That's chaos. They create chaos and intermittent rewards so that you stay. You see, the potential in them, and there is no potential in them. What you're seeing is the rare thing that's happening. And the normal thing that's happening is the chaos. And I, for one, don't want chaos. Nobody that was a black sheep ever wants chaos again. Yeah, I believe it. There's a lot of people out there with this same thing. Yep, there's a lot of deterioration. I was thinking about it. I was going to make a video about that where we've made it so we're so antisocial because we've removed all the friction out of society where you don't have to leave the house. It's like, well, there's a loneliness epidemic because nobody leaves the house. You can push a button and get food delivered. You can push a button, get groceries delivered. You can push a button and all of a sudden you're on a dating app and you can date on the internet. You can talk to everybody you want to on the internet. Like we've made like this frictionless place, frictionless life where you don't interact with people anymore. There's no like chance meetings at a grocery store or, or anything. And you go to the gym and everybody's got their headphones on. So you don't even talk to each other at the gym. You go outside and no one's talking to each other. They all have their headphones in. They don't want to be bothered. It's just frictionless. It's everything's making it so no one talks to anybody. People would rather text each other than talk on the phone. People get social anxiety from even considering having a phone call with somebody. I'd rather talk on the phone because you can learn something in 30 seconds on the phone that you couldn't learn from 20-minute text message session. And most people would rather text because there's no decorum. There's no expectations on text messages. There's no rules of like, you have to say goodbye and you have to say hello. There's all this like etiquette when you're on the phone with somebody. And there's no etiquette on text. You just can stop texting them. And there's no, okay, talk to you later. You don't know how you even stand. You can just be like, hey, what's up? Not much. See you there. Okay, bye. And then it's like, you don't even say, okay, bye. I don't think text works for you, Adriana. I think you have defaulted to text because it's just easier for you. There should be some friction in your life, just not chaos friction. The more I learn about people, the more I like my dog, Mark Twain. That's another dangerous thing is we're sacrificing humanity for like pets. That's not good to treat your pets like people. It's called anthropomorphism. And the more we talk to dogs and cats and fish and birds that don't talk back to us, we're getting socialized to think that anybody that talks back to us in any way or has a different opinion is bad. It's like talking to AI all the time. If you talk to AI all the time, you're going to get frictionless conversations and you're going to be able to change topics, talk about whatever you want, whenever you want. ChatGPT doesn't have emotional responses. They're not people. It's not people. So you're going to get so used to talking to like AI that you're going to start talking to people like you talk to AI, and then it will condition you to talk differently to people, and it'll not be good. I use AI a lot, but I also am aware that the way I talk to AI, I want short answers. People aren't like that. So yeah, once you know, if you're aware of these things, it's a lot harder to run into the like being trained into these things. My neighbor's pet. Yeah, well, that's normal, dude. You should not be that upset about it. Yeah, there's a real car club. I like this. There's a real car club that meets up sometimes. Why don't you go? Do you go? Let's look. I'm going to freeze your chat so I can read it. Yeah, there's a real car club. I think people need to start doing more things in real life with other people. Who doesn't talk to AI, Blackjack? I talk to AI all the time, probably like way more than I should. It's an amazing tool for people who just want answers. I talk to it all the time. It's great. I almost everybody I know talks to it all the time, which is probably not good, but understanding the psychology of MAGA and Trump supporters has changed the way I respond to them. Good. That's amazing. I'm glad to hear it, Mary Lynn. you just lost me. Ignorant animal comment. Oh, here we go. You're trying to cancel me over me talking about your animal. Come on now. You can't cancel me. I'm not a Netflix subscription. Who said that? Matt Reich, I think. Yeah, you should talk to your animals and treat them well, but don't substitute animals for people. It's dangerous and it makes you disconnected from society. You can use your dog as a social lubricant to talk to other people, but don't just get rid of people for animals. It's just like talking to AI. Might as well talk to AI. It's always going to be a one-sided conversation. Richard Dawkins fell in love with his AI. Oh, okay, that's weird. That's super weird. How do you fall in love with your AI? It's software. I know what it is, so like I could never fall in love with it. Yeah, I go to these meets. They're great. No gibber, no egos. Yeah, I like that. I would love it. I would love to go to an event where there's no egos. I like the idea of not having an event where you don't like talk about work. Every time I go to an event nowadays, everybody's like asking me like, what exactly do you do? Give me your resume. And I'm like, bro, I don't want to. It sounds like I'm bragging about myself if I say it, so I don't want to talk about it. I am a CNA and I interact with people all the time. That's awesome. As you should. You're a nurse. I hope so. That's really good though. It's a good job to have, to interact with people. You'd love my cats. I'm massively allergic to cats. I used to own a cat when I was a kid. I was sick all the time. And then my cat got stolen by my neighbor. And all of a sudden I got better health-wise. So I was like, oh. So no more cats. The romantic bots are risky. Dude, I don't think I could ever fall for AI. If you have actually communicated with AI, you'd realize why you can't fall for AI. AI it's a mimic of human communication. It's not good at it either. So. Yeah, AI is not really talking back to you. I guess you're right. It's basically just reading back a script to you that it's generated from. It's a guesstimate model, basically, is what it's doing. It's not really knowing what to say next. It's just guessing what it possibly is the best next statement based on training material. It's a mimic of responding to you. It's not real. This is why I can't. Once I know what it does, if I knew a very attractive woman, girl, woman, whatever, attractive woman, and someone told me she was a full-blown narcissistic personality disordered person, I could not fall in love with her, no matter how beautiful or love bomby she could be. It's just it would just be stuck in my head that I know she can't love back, and it's all fake. And that's how AI is to me. I know it's fake, but I have to admit, it does possibly trains you to interact with other humans the same way you interact with AI. I can see that being a problem. Because you just want answers, and people aren't just an answer robot, right? So if you always are used to getting answers, you might start treating people that way. I figured a few things out using ChatGPT. Yep. You can figure a lot of stuff out. AI helps you troubleshoot lots of stuff, especially like logical stuff where you're trying to understand patterns. AI will point out patterns to you that you might not recognize and humans might not recognize fast. So I have this uncanny ability to like recognize patterns very quickly. I don't know why. It's just something broken in me, but I'm a pattern recognition person. That's why I like the way AI works, is because it recognizes patterns very much like myself. And I'm like, wow, this thing's, keeping up with me. This is good. It's way smart. Obviously AI is way smarter than me. Because it has like the world's knowledge at its search, right? It could look up anything in like no time. But it's cool pattern recognition for people who aren't, doing pattern recognition on a daily basis. I do pattern recognition with my job. So It triggers empathetic people. Does AI? AI triggers empathetic people? I don't know what that means. It's a vague term. Explain yourself. It helped me see other people point of view. Be very careful. Okay, so here's the thing about AI I forgot to say, and this is very much open your ears to this one. This is a big one. If you don't know the answer, if you're not an expert already, or have done your own research on peer-reviewed stuff to know something is right, AI will absolutely try to convince you something else is right. And if you don't know the answer already, it will gaslight you. It'll try to gaslight you into thinking it's right. And unless you know the answer to fight back and say, no, that's not correct. It's done it to me about a lot of things. And I'm like, what are you talking about? That's not correct. And it will go, oh yeah, I guess I should have looked it up. I was just guessing the next right answer. It doesn't know the real right answer. You actually kind of have to prompt it to look it up too. You can't just have a conversation with it and think it's going to give you the right answer. It's guessing what the right answer is going to be. And then you'll correct it. Only if you know the answer can you correct it. So, yeah, as an empathetic person, you might pick up on something artificial. Yeah, I don't know. I see pattern recognition like it's really easy. There's a lot of the dysfunction with AI that I read right away. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm like a good communicator or something like that. And I pick up on bad communication styles because I, grew up with bad communication styles. I guess it's that hypervigilance thing that's always running in my head. Spell check isn't always correct either. Oh, dude. Let me tell you, it can get a lot of stuff correct, and then it will throw you for like a loop out of nowhere. And you're like, wait, what is this sentence? What did you just say to me? It'll literally like be dyslexic for a second and start speaking in broken sentences. And you're just like, what the heck? It's far from perfect. It is the AI that you're communicating with, however you're communicating with, is so new. It's nowhere. It's so haphazardly put together. You guys think it's like this amazing machine, but it's very lightly put together because they're iterating so quickly with this stuff. They don't care if it's wrong for you. They care if it's wrong for making big business decisions. And only there they're getting like corrected stuff. I use AI all the time. But it's usually communicating to it. I'm usually talking verbally. I'm verbally talking to it. I think it's great for certain things. I've done that before. I've asked it to do psychological evaluations on me. Pattern recognition I don't see. I've asked it to look for my blind spots, all sorts of stuff. I have put AI to the test, guys. Trust me. I've done that for years now. Since AI came out, since 2022, I've been using AI actively. And I've built systems with it. I've built software with it. I've done everything with it. Talked to it like crazy. There's been days I've talked to it for like 8 to 10 hours straight. So let me tell you, there's definitely ways to put it through its paces. And it can fool people. It can convince really not intelligent people that they're intelligent. It's bad. Like people that have delusions of grandeur will be deluded. Like AI will convince them I don't know if you've seen this video. You guys have to see this video though. There's a video on YouTube from this. They interviewed this guy. He was like he was like a contractor HR recruiter, like in his late 40s. Heavy set dude, you know what I mean? Like you can kind of tell he has the attitude of like, I'm better than everybody else. I sensed it right away when he was being interviewed. Like this guy thought he invented a new math. And he's a HR recruiter. right? Consultant recruiter. And he's like, AI convinced him he invented a new math. And it was like some new visual math. And he was being interviewed by CNN. Oh, I'm suing OpenAI for it telling me that I was a genius. I was a genius. And he went around and told everybody that he was a genius. He started telling his friends and his family, I'm really smart. AI told me I was smart. I created a new math. He started making a fool out of himself because AI told him he was a genius. And then he told AI convinced him that he had found something on some government website that nobody else discovered and that he was some genius. And not only was he a math genius, but now he's discovering things on some government site that I was just like, this guy was clearly delusional before he got with AI, right? He was clearly one of these self-important people that was like, you talk to him, he was like Norm on Cheers, if you guys have ever watched Cheers, but he was like the Norm on Cheers. We thought he knew everything, but like 90% of the time, he just said something confidently, but he didn't know what he was talking about. He always pretended to know the answer. And he was just counting on everybody, just like not really caring that much. That's what this kind of guy was. Like I knew right away. Dunning-Kruger, exactly. Very Dunning-Kruger. And you should watch it. Look it up. The guy who was convinced, I think he was Canadian, by the way, which I thought was even more interesting. Because I was like, oh, Canadian wouldn't do stuff like that. No, they would. They're like this in Canada too, in some cases. Let me find it on YouTube real quick. I don't remember what it was called, but I bet you I can find it fast. It was awesome. It's such a cool, it's like you're standing on the outside, like watching this guy in like a fish tank, like just say exactly what you expect him to say. And only a person like him would be convinced he invented a new math. Only a person who didn't know how complex math could be would ever be convinced he invented some new math. Like, do you realize how ignorant you have to be to think you invented a new math? I don't know. Maybe I'm the crazy one for thinking that, but I would never think I would run it by so many people before I would ever think I created a new math. I would have to have it tested for so long by so many people. I would be like, hey, you're really good at calculus, James. Come look at this. Do you think this is a new math? I would actually pressure test this against so many. Please, I'm like, prove me wrong. I would want them to prove me wrong. Yes, Cliff Clavin. Exactly right. He's a Cliff Clavin. Let me just find this guy. I bet you I find him quick. Let's see here. What was he? What did I say? He was a recruiter. Recruiter who got tricked by AI. New math. Yep, here he is right away. Oh, one of the best videos. I want to at least leave you with an amazing video. I'm putting it in the chat if you guys can see it across chat platforms when it pops up there. Might be a little bit of a delay. I put it in the chat in TikTok. I'm going to pin the comment. I don't know how to pin it in this other platform, but I put it in there. It's worth watching. It is really interesting to see someone Dunning-Kruger himself into blaming someone else. He blamed someone else for him being crazy. It is very narcissistic of him. He's a narcissist. Like he's a Trump supporter. These are the people who support Trump. So look that up. Put in the list who all thought they did. I don't know what that means. But I'm going to try and pin it in the group chat here. I hit it. Okay, now if I pin it in, yep, boom, pinned. Pinned on YouTube also. I don't think I can pin it on Facebook. That is funny. I'm going to put it in the Facebook chat too, but. Oh, that's awesome. Just looking at that video. I wish we could watch it together. I'll have it so we can watch some stuff next time together. So we can watch that video together. That would be pretty funny. But I don't even know if it's even legal. Are you allowed to like stream and like watch a video? Isn't there like some kind of copyright strike I could get just by watching some stupid video? Anyway, that's it. Hit the like and subscribe. Yeah, hit the like and subscribe bell. Yeah, subscribe. I would appreciate that. Follow me, subscribe. That's right, Midas. Midas Touch. Midas Touch would be pretty cool to work for those guys. I like those guys. But who knows, man? I think I'm gonna start a media company that does that too. I think we have such little facts in the world. We have such little things you can trust in the world. Imagine something where you come to like a media, like you see videos and you can trust them. What a video, and you just know. Like Aaron Parnas is a great example. I don't know if you guys know who Aaron Parnas is, but when he reports stuff, I believe it because he's a trustworthy guy. I believe, and you guys might not agree, but Midas Touch is really great also. Just because they are left-leaning doesn't make them not report news. They still report facts. What Fox News and OAN and Newsmax does is they report and they leave out things. So they lie by omission. So when you lie by omission, that's not good. It's might as well just lie. So yeah, Aaron Parnas is great. I agree. Yep. And so is Midas Touch. They're good stuff. And they might have left-leaning opinions, but I just think they're logical opinions. Like I like the way Midas Touch frames things because the frame is the right frame. I'm not biased towards the frame. I definitely see bias. Sometimes they report stuff on the news, like regular news, and I go, oh, that's not quite true because, I forgive the little piece that's a little over-exaggerated for the real, because it's still real news. But I see the little tiny bit of a bias here and there, but it's not unfactual. It's just a little bias. But who cares? Like, see through the bias. So easy. But Midas Touch is a little, I don't know. I think Midas Touch reports correctly. And here's why I say that. I don't think we are taking this seriously enough. We are being taken over by a fascist regime. And I don't say that lightly. I'm openly saying that on the internet right now. And they could see this. And I could probably get in trouble for this one day. This is pretty, at the end of the day, pretty bad. So I don't think Aaron Parnas, I don't think Midas Touch is bad. I think they're not being alarmist enough. Clickbait titles, I don't think they're clickbait titles. I actually think they are for the times legitimate titles to use. Not all titles are bad. I mean, yeah, there are a couple of clickbaity titles, but at the end of the day, I don't think we're upset enough. Yeah. And no exaggeration, Peter, exactly. It is not an exaggeration. It is a Christian nationalist fascist regime. And have you guys seen if you haven't seen Harry Potter, thanks, Pasky, I appreciate that. I do have a book, but it's about building community. It's not about stuff like this. It's not about politics. I never was going to make political content. But when bad things happen, you have to sometimes step into the breach and do what you can to start making a difference. I had no intent on doing this, by the way. But I will write a book if you guys will buy it. I already have a book, like I said, but it's about building community. Yeah, bad news is good for both for liberal and fascist news. Correct. Thanks, Mindy. I appreciate that. Yep, Brian Tyler Cohen. Yes. So Brian Tyler Cohen, a legitimately probably good person. But if there's anybody that does have clickbaity stuff, it's Brian Tyler Cohen. Some of his stuff, I click into it, I'm like, bro. Some of his stuff is just like, whoa, like very sensationalized. And then you watch what he talks about and you're just like, okay, that's not quite what just happened. So Brian Tyler Cohen, probably great, an amazingly nice person and super smart and does good newscasting, like an amazing person. That's why he's top tier, right? Let's be honest. That's why he's one of the best. But he does do click. To me, my take is Rick Wilson is awesome from the Lincoln Project. One of my faves. He started following me on Instagram and I was just like, holy cow, like this guy who I highly respect started following me. I was like, oh my God, amazing. What a great dude. I've spoken to him a few times through DMs. Pretty great. He's just a great, smart guy. Just as long as you don't do clickbaity stuff. I don't know. MAGA is a fascist cult. Yes. Love to Bud. I agree with what you just said there. I don't think I'm allowed to say that on TikTok. But yes, it is a bad cult. And my book is called Community Market Fit. If you ever heard the term product market fit, it is community market fit, because I think the way people build businesses is backwards. I don't want to talk about business too much right now. Although if I do have expertise, I am a really smart business person. Is that people build businesses wrong. They build products and they look for an audience. And it's a really weird way of like trying to build a business. And then what they do in the tech space is they build a product and they iterate the product to fit a community at some point. And the reason why that doesn't work is, why in the world would you try to build a company from zero audience? What you do is you build an audience first and then service that audience, that community of people, with a product that solves a problem for them. And that's what my book is basically on. But it's a lot more than that. It's about community. It's about history. It takes into account like all these. Yeah, Kyle Klinsky is great. He is not too clickbaity. I actually, when I watch his videos, they are 99% of the time exactly what he said they are. I'm a big fan of Kyle Klinsky. Adam Mockler is good too. Who's Adam? Oh yeah, I like Adam Mockler. He's the guy that tipped off what's his name on the CNN show where he's like, "Get your finger out of my face." Yeah, he's pretty good for how young he is. Is great. Dean Withers is great. Parker Get a Job is great. Like all these guys are great. Debates. Here's the problem with debates though. Do they really help us, or what are they like? They're very entertaining. I am down the rabbit hole, by the way, of debate content. I watch it all the time. I'm so interested in it. But it's really hard for me to like, I don't know if it's good for us or if it's bad for us for debating people who are in bad faith. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is debating really good for us? Debating people who are just lying? It's kind of like putting lies on the same level as truth and saying we both have Not everybody deserves to have an opinion. If you're just lying, no. Are you open to being a guest on other people's platforms? Of course I am. Heck yeah. The right platforms. I don't want to be on just anybody's platform, but yeah, I would definitely be on other people's shows. Me and Gunny, I don't know if you guys ever saw Gunny, the guy's name on Instagram and YouTube and on TikTok. He reached out to me for me to be on his podcast, and I said yes, but we're still trying to schedule a time. He's a great dude. He rides around. I don't know if you guys know who he is, but Gunny. Heather Cox Richardson would be a really great one. I would definitely go on there. She's awesome. I love Heather Cox Richardson. I was already on, I don't know if you guys saw it, I've Had It podcast. I was such an honor to be on there. I love Welsh. I love that duo. I've Had It podcast is one of my favorites. And I can't believe they let me be on the show. It was really great. Thank you so much, Adriana. I actually thought I could have done a lot better. I'm very critical of myself. So yeah, I love Gunny too. He's awesome. And he hit me up like a few weeks ago. He's like, can you be on my show? I'm like, yeah. Is the Pope Catholic? Of course I'll be on your show. Romano Report. I don't know what that one is off the top of my head. I'm sure I would know it if I saw it. But I would love to be on the Majority Report. Oh my God, that'd be great. Of course. I'd love to be on all these shows. You know who I think is the Damage Report would be awesome. I would love to do that too. I think I need someone to like help me make those connections though. People reach out to me all the time, but I was on I've Had It because, they saw my video and they reacted to it. And I reached out and was like, hey, thanks for reacting to my video. Love your show. I'd be a guest anytime. And they'd be like, yeah, come on right now. And I was like, sweet. So it worked out really great. And I think there's just not a lot of well-spoken people out there too. So they like probably want people like me on shows like that. What I don't want to do is go on some arguing show where I'm like arguing with people who I will never argue with people who are lying. I don't want to be on the same stage as someone. I don't want to debate a liar, a denier of reality. They're never going to be on the same level as me. I will not allow them, and I will not do it. I don't care. You do you, but I am not going to platform misinformation as a logical argument to have with me. It'll never happen. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do anything like that. I can debate, but I'm not going to debate people who are just openly coming in and just lying. They either know they're lying or they're dumb. Can we have a debate about, I don't know, summer versus winter? Sure. Some people like winter better than summer. I can make a case for summer being way better than winter. I am not going to debate facts and science and then say that it's a logical argument to even debate it. If you start debating things like that, you are platforming those ideas to then put them at the same level as facts and science, which then calls into question reality and what is truth. You can't do that. If you do that, you ruin people's trust in their reality. As you can see, people with lower IQs are now can't trust any news, right? Or so they think. I love summer. I would rather, for the rest of my life, live in a spring-summer environment, which is why I live in Southern California. I would rather live in a spring-summer environment. Yeah, I would love to be on Midas. I didn't even know they had guests on Midas. Yeah, San Diego has one season. Love San Diego. Almost moved there last year because, I can do this kind of stuff from anywhere I am. So, yeah, it's always bad faith. MAGA is always bad faith. Yeah, I would like summer, but if you've never been to Los Angeles, or San Diego, anywhere in Southern California. It's very temperate weather. So even at its coldest of cold, I've been here for a long time, and it's the temperature does not get lower. Like there are days, 1 or 2 days out of the year, we'll get it down into the 40s, but that's like only in the morning is it 40. And then it's like 65 degrees out that day. You know what I mean? Like, let's not talk about winter right now. It's only June. Love to bud. Relax. Yeah, spring is cool. Peter Thiel is suffering from mania. I don't know. But at some point, when you have so much money, you can do whatever you want, whenever you want. Why would you want to do this? If I had $1 billion, which is ridiculous, by the way, Springfield is my fave. I don't know what Springfield means. There's like a Springfield in every, I don't know what that means. Springfield, there's a town called Springfield in like, I think every state. It's crazy. Summer New Orleans, not fun. Yeah, probably pretty brutal. I've been to New Orleans in the October and November. It was nice. My wood stove is burning as we chat. Where are you, Love to Bud? Are you in Canada or something? That's crazy. It's so hot where I'm at right now, but it's always warm here. I'd rather be in a temperate Mediterranean kind of like environment the rest of my life. I don't think human beings were actually meant to live where winter happens. So we adapted to it, but I don't think we were meant to be it. We don't have enough fur. I've heard billionaires called an obsessive. I don't know what that means. Have you guys ever watched the TV show Silicon Valley? There's a character in the first season that's supposed to be Peter Thiel. If you haven't seen the show, it's really spot on. If you haven't seen it, go to HBO Max, whatever the heck it's called these days, because they changed the name like 27 times. Go watch. There are some real people, by the way, people I know, even in the show, the first season of Silicon Valley. Watch it. It's so good, number one. And it's really funny and good because it's real. It's truly ridiculous, but it's also just real. Watch that show. It is that ridiculous. In real life, people are that ridiculous in real life. There's a guy that mimics Peter Thiel in that show. Peter, I think his name was Peter, not Peter Gregory, was it? Was it Peter Gregory? But he doesn't live past, I don't want to ruin the show for you, but he doesn't live past the first season. But it's not because, it's just funny. Watch the show. It's worth it. They're only 25-minute episodes. They're really short. Worth binge watching. It's a really funny show. And it's like, once you watch just like season 1 or season 1 and 2, you'll be like, now I know exactly how people are in the tech space. It's funny to me, who's been in the tech space for so long, to go, oh, it's funny because it's real. It's just authentic. I would not get a poodle. I'm allergic to cats. I need a bigger dog. I want to be able to I don't want a little dog. Poodles are, I guess full-size poodles are bigger, but I don't want one that looks like foofy. I want one that's like a golden retriever or like a Labrador. I even love big dogs, but they're a little sad also because Great Danes. I had a coach when I was a kid who had a Great Dane. It was like the nicest dog. It was so big. It was so friendly. And it was just so fun to play with because he's just a big, giant dog. 50-pound poodle, yo. Must be a fat poodle. All right. I'm going to stay on for another 5 minutes. Australian cattle dog. Oh, that's a good dog too. Big fan of the Australian, what are they called? Australian sheepdog. Is that what it is called? An Australian sheepdog? Collie? Border collie? Is that what it is? Border collie, I think it was. That is a cool dog. Those are super friendly, positive dogs. 6-pound poodle. No, small dogs. No bueno, dude. I grew up. We had a couple dogs growing up. One of them was a Chihuahua poodle mix. It was just a big Chihuahua. No more of those. They yip too much. They bark at everything. Border collies, yep. Weimaraners are good dogs too. There's a lot of good dogs. Belgian, is that Belgian Malinois? Is that how you say it? I don't know how to say that. Is that one of those like skittish dogs? There was a viral video going around over the last like 12 months somewhere, and it was like this. I think it was a Belgian Malinois. It was like it went and like the girl was like trying to hug it and kiss it, and it just like snapped at her really quickly because they're a little skittish, which is why the military uses them to like crawl. Like they're crazy, like very agilic dogs, but also a little skittish around people. Malinois, that's it. That's how you say it. Malinois. Yes, sorry, I mispronounced it. It's such a cool dog. Very pretty dog. Police dogs, yep. They are very expensive dogs. Malinois, okay. Now I know how to say it. Malinois. I don't think I'll remember that, but I hope I do. Malinois. Oh, the Obamas added a Malinois? I didn't know that. Are they good with kids, Malinois? I thought they were a little skittish around people they don't know, kind of like Dalmatians are. Dalmatians are known to be a little skittish around people they don't know. That sometimes they bite people. Labradoodle. So I like Labradoodles, but I don't like the fluffy, weird poodle hair. I don't know why I don't like that. It's just not an attractive look for a dog. If I'm gonna buy a dog or whatever, adopt a dog, whatever you say it now. I don't really want to have a dog right now because then I have to walk it 5 times a day. I already exercise a lot, so I don't know. I don't want a dog to be a reason why I don't do something. I have to worry about the dog. I have to board the dog. I have to get dog treats. I have to take it to the vet. It's got to get its shots. It's like so many things you do when you have a dog. So easy to forget how much responsibility a dog is. I used to have my dog I got when I was like 19, I think. I had a pit bull. Actually, it was a pit bull slash, what was it? Pit bull Labrador mix. So it looked like a smaller Labrador retriever, but not much smaller, but it had those tiger stripe pit bull coat. It was great dog. Unbelievably great dog. Beautiful dog. People were always like, whoa, why does your dog have like tiger stripes? Looks like that. Yeah, it's a cute dog. They thought it was like one of those marsupial wolves that went extinct in Australia. I think they called them tigers. Some type of Australian tiger that went extinct in the early 1900s. But it had like the coat that looked like that. It was kind of cool dog. It's funny. 3 cats. Oof. You have exactly 3 cats too many. Tasmanian devil. No, not a Tasmanian devil. It was something else. Yeah, that's it. The Tasmanian tiger. That's it. Tasmanian devils still exist. And they're annoying. Make this like annoying devil-like sound. That's it. Tasmanian tiger. You know your dogs, Lucy dog. All right. It's been real, everybody. It's been 3.5 hours. I'm gonna go. I gotta eat, and I gotta make some videos. I bought a parrot. Oh my god. Do you realize what you were getting involved with when you bought that parrot? Oh, it passed away. That's sad. Parrots are dope. They just like talk a lot though. Big fan, Adriana too. Huge fan. Thanks for everybody being here. I appreciate it. I do not take it lightly that you guys like my content. I do not take it lightly that you guys watch. So it means a lot to me. I appreciate it. Always a good chat. Love to Bud. All right, everybody have a great night, and I will see you soon. Don't forget to like my videos tomorrow. See you later, guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks, Blackjack. I appreciate it. Thanks, Tez. See you guys.